drop it. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it.
Happy Sunday and good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Garena Masters 11. By the way, it is us, Vince G and Mr. Pika. It has been a pleasure to cast with you again. I miss you so much, good sir.
It's been forever, man. You know, if I'm gonna be completely honest, ladies and gentlemen, fun fact, Vince G is actually the first guy I did commentary with for Call of Duty Mobile. So yeah, you know what? It's super nostalgic, but I'll tell you what's nostalgic, being back here, of course, for the nth time. And today is the final hurrah, at least for this week, around the round robin stage.
Yeah, it has been an intense 2 days of action, but this time, scores are gonna be settled. You know, teams are gonna face off. Unbeaten teams now will kick things off. So we will proceed to that anytime soon. But of course, we have a lot to talk about. Starting off with the participating teams, the prize pool, might as well where it all started. Let's talk about the roadmap for this tournament.
Oh my goodness. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, you know, it's a bit of a pain for me to not be able to kick this off. I'm not going to lie, but we have finally reached the third day for this this week of the round robin stage, if so to speak. Now, we're not going to be done, ladies and gentlemen, because the second half of this is going to resume on the 23rd all the way to the 26th, Vince G.
Well, yeah, it's going to be extra 4 days, but they have to focus on today's matches. But after that round robin stage, playoffs is gonna be crucial because out of the 7 teams, only 4 will stand out. Qualifier stage, a lot of teams did manage to beat each other in order for them to, you know, settle who's gonna come into this stage. But how many teams? 5 teams are gonna stand here, plus 2 invited teams. That's gonna be a lot to take. So 7 teams. If we're gonna be looking at the schedule today, one is just gonna sit pretty and watch all the chaos unfolds today.
Yeah, I feel that that's a double-edged sword too, you know, because whoever that is that's going to be back there, you know what I'm saying, going to be watching the action unfold, will also have their hands full, plus the anticipation is going to build. Not to mention they won't have a chance to rack up points today. So it's just like that anxiety, you know what I mean? It's a bit of an anxiety for them that they wanna get their hands dirty, so to speak. But as we mentioned, during the qualifiers, we had 130 teams, my goodness, and 7 teams in the round robin stage, as we did mention earlier, will be fighting it out for those precious points. Last but not least, the playoffs, you guys know the drill, will be just the last remaining 4 teams. As I said before we even started the broadcast, this stage is entirely bittersweet, if so to speak.
Bittersweet indeed. Teams, players, of course, some of them already knew each other. We're gonna talk about that later on, but of course, 7 teams are gonna fight off. Only 4 is gonna come on top. But out of those 4, there's only one champion to be crowned here in Garena Masters 11. And they're gonna be fighting off for a total of $40,000 US, Pika. That's a lot because 20,000 is gonna go home to the champs.
Wow. I'm still not used to seeing this amount of loot, ladies and gentlemen, because the jump from 20,000 to 9,000 is gargantuan, ladies and gentlemen. So even then, you know, the gap between 2nd to 3rd and 4th to 5th, all the way to the 7th, they're pretty sizable. But the good thing is, none of these players are going to go home empty-handed, Vince G. So everyone's getting a piece of the pie regardless.
Yeah, piece of the pie for 7 teams that survive on that qualifier stage, and that means a lot for them. But if I am a player of a specific team, of course, $1,500 US is okay, but I wanted to climb up towards that playoff stage where I will be getting a sure $2,500 US. And if I'm there already, I wanted to get that championship. I wanted to get a piece of that huge amount of prize pool, which is 20K.
Yeah, it's always the summit, right? Everybody has to gun for the summit. No pun intended, by the way. Now, here we go. For those of you who did miss the action for the past number of days, these are the teams that are gunning literally for that huge prize pool. And of course, the prestige, right, of being called the champion for Garena Masters 11. The champions. Now, if we're going to talk about champions, you see that soul bar at the bottom, Vince G? That right there is the team, let's be honest here, who has established themselves a huge name. And not far behind, we have ALUla, which is who give them a run for their money. We have Rival, Nocturnal is there too, Urban Legends, SKAERI, and Oblivion all together. My goodness, no one here is a pushover, Vince G.
Well, of course, out of those 7 teams, Pika, Legends are just gonna watch the action unfold. But let's talk about the current standing. Elevate, Rival
Oh, my
Esports. In terms of the score, no pun intended again, they rival each other towards the summit. Elevate, they wanted to climb on top, but Rival Esports also wants to do the same. But in this first clash later on, no one is going to call it a tie. One has to give.
Oh man. The excitement is just deadly, ladies and gentlemen. But here we go. Speaking of excitement, where are we taking our very, very first match here? Where is Hardpoint going to take place? Yes, of course. We like it violent. we like it difficult. So Takeoff is the map to beat.
Ooh, Takeoff. We've seen the teams conquering all of those points, hard points here, trying to get towards the 250 score. But in terms of Rivals and Elevate, I think this is gonna be a tough one. I mean, both of these teams have been competing. Both of these teams had a lot of action-packed players, but all I can say is that this is a match that we need to keep our eyes on.
Yeah, realistically speaking, as you mentioned earlier, Vince G, there is no way that this is going to be a draw. The odds are astronomical, ladies and gentlemen. But again, we're not going to keep you any longer. We're stepping on the pedal. Here we go.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We kick things off with Hardpoint, Rivals, Elevate. Now trying to get the first step, but Rival, of course, no one is going to rival that except for Elevate. And now the point is just stopping. Rivals now maximizing all that hard points, and now they're climbing up on their first tent.
Here we go. Hardpoint looking blue for the time being. Oh, turned green all of a sudden here. Bit of concession on the side of Elevate. And if we know anything about this hardpoint right here, folks, this right here is a huge bluff, as most would always say. This rotunda is always painful to watch. We're going to be leaving it empty for a few seconds here. Who's going to dare step in? Remember, Rivals do have the upper hand here.
Yeah, Rivals right now, points keep on coming towards them, but PJ, of course, trying to guard every corners of this P number 1. 10 seconds remaining. Elevate gets the most out of this as the other players are heading towards P number 2, which will unlock anytime soon.
The second floor, man. This money hill, should this be secured, folks, you know what it do. Scaffold, no guard up there just yet. Let's see. Susano already making his way, clearing it. Easy peasy right there. 13 points on the board here for Elevate. Now, it goes without saying here, Vince G, that Elevate is the clear crowd favorite, so to speak. But right now, they do have to catch up first before they can establish anything significant. This is the first rotation after all, folks, so there's still going to be a lot of work to be done. Meanwhile, Rivals retakes it with a bit of a lead here, a bit of a significant lead here, Vince G. 32 to 17, and we're still moving.
Well, for the scores, I must say it is quite tied. Rivals, of course, having to snowball as early as they could. Elevate, can they catch up? Yato looking for potential kills. Candy is gonna try to climb on that ladder, but he didn't notice someone from behind. For Yato, he's gonna try to rotate, enjoy every moment of this P number 2 as the other players are trying to invest right now in P number 3. Elevate, I believe they have the upper hand on that next point.
Yeah, they do. If you're going to look at it, ladies and gentlemen, there's already a bit of advancement here for both our teams. Just trying to make sure that hardpoint number 3 is safe and sound. Look at that, Elevate. There's a sizable lead, as I mentioned earlier, between Rivals and Elevate in points. But let's see if that's going to be retrieved by Elevate right now. It is looking to be a very back and forth tug of war, even though Rivals actually has the upper hand when it comes to points. I like the fact that as early as now, they're also already cashing out their operator skills investments, Vinci.
Yeah, and of course, operators popping, not wasting any time. We can see some equalizer action coming in from Tin, and this P number 3, they're not giving everything towards Elevate, and GB as well, wielding the death machine. PJ got spotted, he gets close, and he gets down, but of course, the cleanup is just there to clean up the house, ladies and gentlemen, as Susano climbs towards the window, spots one again. P number 4 is quite chaotic here.
Let's see how this is gonna go. We're almost approaching our 3-digit mark here. So let's see. if the clinic is going to be infested with whoever it is that's going to be closing it. On the control tower, rather. Here we go. So Susano and Yopi, they already have their investments coming into play. Now, this is very important for Elevate. If they allow Rivals to get that 3-digit mark here, this might be tough. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, if you saw the scoreboard, these two are the highest scoring teams for the past couple days.
Yeah. Highest scoring teams, and they wanted to get higher. Rivals also has that in mind. Candy, Clo, I think they're trying to compete up against the Rivals, but look at this. I mean, Elevate is stopping Rivals from coming inside, and now they're setting foot. No one could able to stop them because one after another, the players of Rivals, they're dropping like flies here.
That they do, man. Like I said, Elevate, they have to make use of as much operators skill frags as they can. I already saw a good amount of Tempest frags over there, folks. That exchange was deadly, 100 to 70. But the good news is Elevate is making their way there, slowly but surely. We're about to reset to our hardpoint 1 once again. And you know what that looks like, Vinci? That is going to be once again a test of who's going to be bold enough to capture it in the first place.
Well, back at it again in the mid as they compete. Rivals knew the assignment, knew the situation. A lot of corners to watch out for. Even players crouching from behind is not going to survive for AG Scope. And again, every entry points that Elevate's going to come through is being warded, being guarded. Tin, on the other hand, is going to try to snipe them from a distance, but still Rivals is accumulating points faster.
Oh, very dangerous. Yato looking over the horizon. Is he going to land anything with the Tempest? Yes, he does. That's good for a couple here, right? And still able to patrol, however, Klo with the interrupter, or Kalo. So let's see what else. 130 approaching it. Are we good for any on the Pred missile? Yes, we get one. 13 seconds left on this hardpoint. We see a little bit of an exchange here, Benji. Let's see how this second hardpoint's going to go.
For Elevate, they're having a hard time in P number 1. It seems like they need to somehow focus their sights in the other hard points. Maybe P number 2 try to conquer the uphill, the high grounds up there in the second floor. Equalizer, Tin trying to eliminate one. Susano's gonna receive it. Tin again goes for Claw. That's his third kill with that equalizer. And now, I think he's not done yet. Check the window. No one's home, but P number 2 is now in their foot.
Oh, not looking good here for Elevate, man. They haven't broken through the 3-digit mark barrier just yet. So Susano trying to clean house here with the Claw. So far to no avail. Yeah, Rivals still looking a bit, I'd say a bit more composed this time around. Granted that Elevate still does not have that 3-digit mark on board. 88 to 156. Let's see if Tim's going to be able to take the scaffolding for control. Yeah, not quite. Not very effective. The hardpoint's still a bit green here, Vince G.
Yeah, Rivals still cleaned up the points wherein Elevate is gonna try to get the remaining 10 seconds in their favor with an equalizer. Claw came out of nowhere. Of course, they need those points. Finally, they broke 100, but can they manage to catch up or keep up with the Rivals?
Oh, look at that. Saving the rest of the score streaks for a little later on. 163 to 101. PG trying to go for second floor control here. Let's see. Yato tries to go for the intercept. And yes, Elevate is successful for the retake. Oh, but just like that, we had to say it. There's been a back and forth between our teams here. Elevate finally trying to close off the entrances. Let's see if hardpoint number 3 is going to be painted yellow.
Elevate right now, it seems like this is gonna be their hard point. Every time we switch towards the P number 3, they're trying to invest a lot of points and they're not letting Rivals get inside. So this might be the equalizing, the turning point for Elevate to keep their points up. But Yato decided to wield that Tempest towards two Candy. Susano, unfortunate for them as they fall into the hands. And there you have it. There you have it. You have to stop the guy.
Yeah, that second floor control was essential though, and it didn't happen. So here we go, 189. Imagine that, folks. We are only 11 points from reaching 200 between these two titanic teams, if so to speak. Tin, oh my goodness, a failed control off of hardpoint number 4. That had to hurt.
It is gonna hurt. P number 4, PJ, enjoying all the Tempest skills that he can get. This might be the turning point for Elevate, but they need a couple of time. Look at the force of the rivals. They go in one after another. AG now stepping in for the team as the other players are outside checking for some contestments.
This is tough. This is going to be very tough for Elevate. However, oh, what a trade via nade over there. Empty hard point. We still have some scrap time here. And let's see if Rivals is going to let go of that in order for them to actually position themselves for the second rotation. The final P1 supposedly here. 211 to 139. Susano still holding the fort, but unfortunately falls.
Oh my goodness, Elevate. They have to concentrate on this if they wanted to catch up towards the score. Rivals doing everything they could not to let Elevate get those points as we head over towards the middle. P number one's the name of the game. Claw from behind takes down AG for his third kill and he's looking for more. Candy goes for two. Mid is their target right now and it seems like Rivals cannot get near.
Oh my goodness, and that makes it even worse. Yato with a backdoor play over here. 220 to 154. Not looking good here. JB also has the death machine in hand. So you know what this means? They're going to be very, very successful in keeping Elevate at bay. 154, and we have an empty hard point here. Never mind. Rivals, they can end this should they want to. Easier said than done though, we'll see.
Yeah, easier said than done. Let's see how can Rivals get the job done. They just need a couple of seconds. 16 seconds remaining for them to win this game. They just have to keep their foot inside. But Elevate here, speaking of keeping their foot, they're just trying to savor it all as we switch towards P number 2, the third P number 2 of this game.
Yeah, always the most detrimental hard point here, simply because there are only two sure shot security entrances here. That scaffolding, once it it gets infiltrated, if I can talk, especially when it comes to these very crucial operator skills, it's gonna be a problem. Here we go. Oh, just like that. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Countdown with us. We are literally 8 seconds away from our very first hard point. Rivals might just hand to Elevate a very, very painful loss here, ladies and gentlemen. And just like that, Rivals takes the hard point, 250 to 165, handing Elevate very first loss for the day.
Wow, this is the heartbreak that you're talking about, man. Top teams, of course, unbeaten in any game mode. As I've said, one's gotta give, and Elevate has to give that win towards rival esports. Team that is very star-studded. You know, ex-Team Star Magic, somehow they shone in this hard point and they bagged the W for this first one. So this means a series point for them.
More than that, if we're going to talk about competition morale, this is momentum on the side of Rivals. You know what this means? That they already have a formula that works, right? So naturally so, if you look at the numbers here, AG from Rivals taking everything out with an amazing 45 frag, basically KDA, right? However, it is the impact of 195 that really made the difference here by Jibby. So well played for the boys, man.
Well played indeed. I believe we are going to witness a very close match in Search and Destroy. That will settle if Rivals is gonna close this with a 2-0 or Elevate, of course, unbeaten team. They won't let this one slide, you know. You want to somehow win another game mode to force a decider, force a control to settle who's gonna come out on the top of this round robin stage. Things are getting so much excited as we are looking straight out of the highlights wherein Rivals, of course, they got the most points before.
Yeah, you know, I'm also looking at the parts here where Elevate was actually slowly catching up, but that's care of the operator skills, right? We all know this already, that operator skills, they really play a huge part when it comes to hardpoint, because it allows you to kind of slack off. This is what I was talking about, to kind of slack off a little bit, but at the same time get to do the objectives being untouched. PJ with that triple off of the Tempest was actually big, because for a brief amount of time, he was able to at least put some threat within that hardpoint.
Very, very interesting game. Elevate, I can see they are trying to, you know, do whatever they could just to keep Rivals out of the hard point. every contestant's made, but Rivals is very much good at cleaning up. You know, if every time player from Elevate is attempting to step foot or probably get near that hard point, Rivals players, they're just scattered around the map. They knew exactly where the players from Elevate is gonna come out, and then they're just gonna stop them from stepping foot. So that, I think that's the winning condition that Rivals played out in this takeoff map, and literally they took off up against the Elevate towards the top of this series.
Yeah, you know, that makes sense, right? It's about security. When we're talking about hardpoint, it's always about defense, right? It's always going to be about who's holding the fort a little bit stronger than the other. So as much as the highlights are already presenting us, ladies and gentlemen, of what happened earlier, this was very much a rinse and repeat moment, simply because Rivals, they're just too unstoppable momentum-wise. They were able to score point after point, and when it looked like they were about to drop the ball, they just went right in, especially during those hard point number 2s, Vince.
Yeah, for me, the very, very hard point for the entire map. But GB, of course, deserves his flowers. He got a total of 40 eliminations, around 1.29 KDA. GB, there's a lot of contribution made by this guy. He stood out in the takeoff map, and that's why he's the match MVP. So he did contribute as well. So this is a team collaboration, team effort, I must say. But GB, of course, stood out with a lot of kills, or probably a lot of foot, or a lot of time being stepped in that hard point.
That's true. That's true. It's not really all about the trigger, being trigger happy, right? We know that for a fact. It's also about what you can give to the team. So GB, however, as you mentioned, he did deserve his flowers. He did deserve his time in the sun. Let's see if that's gonna stay a little later on. Let's not forget, Vince, as you mentioned, there is the need for Elevate right now to go for an equalizer. They have to go for a tie if they want to extend this a little bit further. And let's not forget, man, it's points on the line. It is the amount of points that you can get to secure all the way to the playoffs that really matters. So yeah, you want to get that top seed for sure, right?
Yeah, I do want it to get into the top seed, and might as well expect in this search and destroy that they are gonna be head to head. You know, they're gonna try to keep up against each other. The scores are just gonna be back and forth as the map heads towards Tunisia. Okay, much interesting. How can they play in this one, Pika? Do you have some information on these two teams in Tunisia, S&D?
Okay, the big question mark that I have here is honestly on the side of Rivals, because I know that Josh right here, he has to go in and out of the team, right? Because he has real life things going on. And if there's anything I know, Idra is supposed to be one of the more dangerous people on this map. Like, that's just me based on what I remember. And this also raises the question: is Kendi gonna be pulling up a sniper here, or are we just gonna go with the usual? Are they gonna play it safe? It's more on questions, Vinci, than theory, because right now I feel that there's still a bit of shake on the side of Elevate. I hope that actually gets out really quick. Wow! Speaking of really quick, oh my goodness! Rivals already narrowing down the numbers 4-2 right now, Vince G.
Wow, in this game mode, of course, if you got eliminated, that means you have to wait for the next one. By Rivals playing aggressively, this gives them the numbers advantage. So this is gonna be a 2 versus 3. Rather, I mean, there's signs of life. Candy got spotted here by Yato, but Susano has to do something here. He has to clutch up against 3 players from the side of Rival. Yato, Tin, and Gibi searching for him, but they had that bomb, and they're trying to play the numbers game in terms of this mode. You have to reduce the numbers of the duration, but look at that. Susano decided to react, but he got caught.
Ready up.
That he did. And you know, I'm gonna go back to what I mentioned earlier. You saw what Candy was wielding, right? He's looking at the tap weapons right now. He doesn't look like he's gunning for anything automatic. So that was the one prediction that I had. That's the one theory that I had, rather, when it comes to Candy in Search and Destroy. He likes those. Candy's one of the people who I know for a fact that if his snipes are on point that day, it will keep being on point. So let's see if he finds that momentum. Oh, PKM! Let's go. Oh, look what I said. Candy taking out Yato very early on, but gets traded off by Gibi.
Well, you've said it. They respected Candy for that one, because once that he sets his fingers and get the feel of the sniper rifle, you cannot stop that guy. And as for Elevate, and as for Rivals, I mean, Candy's literal threat here. He's reducing the numbers game, and now it's down towards 3 versus 3 with PJ eliminating Tin. But the question would be, where is the bomb? It has been retrieved here by AG. Are they gonna go towards B? But they're just thinking otherwise. Can they go towards A? It seems like it's heavily guarded, but the near or the probably the nearest location for them to plant is B, and it's just Susano's guarding it.
Yeah, this is gonna be tough, man. Like they're a lot closer than they think. This is gonna be chaotic real soon. Here we go, Susano though, outpeaked by JB over there. And again, this back and forth is a little too intense. PJ left with the arduous task, a 2v1 right now, and the objective is not looking good for him.
Now the pressure is on. 39 seconds. Clock is ticking. PJ, of course, if he eliminated the 2 players, he will also try to defuse the bomb. But of course, time is on. It's not on his side, and that forces him to react, and that gives Rival the opportunity to bait him and then go for that kill.
Yes, absolutely, man. And again, numbers game they're always gonna play a part, right? Especially in search and destroy, because you're not gonna respawn again, folks. It's you have to hold on to whatever lead you have. So for now, speaking of lead, it's Rivals who's up 2 and a little bit of a graze there on the side of Candy. Okay, slow peek. But that's an indicator of damage. Oh, yep, definitely gonna make contact. PKM, my baby. Anyways, ooh, too bloody, but Candy gets wall banged out of there, Vince G.
Wow, Josh has that feel. He knew someone's there, and the bullet did penetrate towards Candy, giving them the numbers advantage. 4 versus 5. Yato looking for someone here as he will be attempting to check the B. But speaking of B side, the 2 guarding players here decided to go for a split with Claw guarding the site alone. So it's the other player trying to get into the middle. A side quite vacant. I think they could consider this. But speaking of vacant, PJ is just there. He's not even moving. Tin, does he know that someone is there so he can go for a sneak?
That's information as well. Speaking of sneaking, that was not very sneaky of them. Shooting off the trophy system. For sure, it's going to be information. Jibby. Just going for the strays here. The relay of information is very, very subtle. Oh, there it is. A little bit of information. Once again, we're down to the last 30 seconds here. And still, no obvious contact from our teams. Kalo over here positioning himself on B side. That Switchblade is not going to do much from that distance, though. But at least he has them. He does have the information. He's hearing them for sure.
B-side is the name of the game. But look at that. Rivals is now moving as fast as they could. 7 seconds on the clock. Can they plant it just in time? 1 second to 44. Now, one player for Elevate got spotted. They even thought they bought time just to delay the plant. But Rivals, man, they're just playing it clean. 3-0.
Oh, absolutely. They're too quick with it, man. They're too clean with it, too. So let's see if Elevate has another plan up their sleeves. You don't see this happen to Elevate a lot, honestly. This 0-3, this is very uncanny, honestly, on the side of Elevate. Not to mention, these are players who know each other. So there has to be some information. Speaking of information right there, Jibby probably had to predict taking out PJ very early on.
Wow, that's a good pick. That's a good kill. Rivals again having that advantage, but I love the slow pace of the Rivals on that one. You know, if I were Elevate, I'm gonna be losing so much patience. What are we gonna do? What is the Rivals gonna do with that bomb? Why are they planted it? You're just waiting for that proper timing, and you have to play it at the exact amount of time. You just have to make sure to calculate it. And as for Elevate, if they had that in their mind, you just have to delay it just for a second. And if they delayed it, I mean, they could have won that round and it's gonna give them some momentum. But now we're back at it in the slow pace of the game. But for Rivals, they have it planted.
Yeah, this is tough, man. Especially on the side of Elevate, they're already down by 1. And look at that, Rivals is playing the long con over here. Okay, there we go. Get spotted. No man's land right there. Tin taking one more frag on the board. Here we go. Elevate looking like there's some sunshine here. 3-2. Best that they look so far here, Vince. However, we're back to the 2-2 here. and the objective is yet to be done.
Winery. I mean, B side is gonna be the spot for them to plant. They go
Wow!
once again. Susano gets 2, and now he's wielding the briefcase. This is gonna be something. I mean, Elevate finally with that win, with that defuse. They have to woke up. This might be the wake up call for them to catch up towards the rivals.
And shake off the cobwebs a little bit. You know, we let go of the hard point earlier. It's time. I think we gotta do something. We gotta inflict some damage here. 1 to 3, and earlier on, man, Elevate already trying to flock B site. Interesting choice. Here we go. Jibby manages to find one, but not leaving there unscathed. However, rivals once again on the driver's seat. Vince G, 3 to 5 rather.
Wow, amazing start right now. Elevate again. They have to play it out with 3. No, make that 2. Yopi and Candy has to make this work. The duo is gonna try to eliminate and reduce the numbers. Candy still alive here. Eliminates Yato. Jibby once again sees the threat. Candy's now down. Yopi doing everything he could to somehow clutch this, but on the balcony, Stin just peeked and he saw someone running and he doesn't see the light of day.
Unfortunate, very unfortunate. Not only was Yopi actually in trouble trying to head to B side, but he didn't know that there was already information being relayed, right? And someone was already waiting for him over the high ground. 4 to 1 here, folks. What is Elevate going to do? Even I, as the spectator here, we are a bit lost.
Yeah, I mean, for Elevate, I mean, with that previous round, I mean, it's gonna kick something out of their heart. Like, you know, we cannot let this one snowball. Rivals having that huge lead. We're talking about 9 points here. They're just 5 rounds away to securing that. But maybe, just maybe, I believe they're just waiting for the bomb to be awarded to them. You know, side switching and all. They don't want to play as a defender. They're struggling in that side. So maybe, just maybe, they're just trying to do whatever they could, win a couple of rounds, and if the switch comes, Elevate may be playing with that bomb, just like what the rivals are doing very well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And at this point, Vinci, it's not even a matter of if, right? It's a when. Because we know that there's going to be a switch for these teams, right? So let's see how that's going to be. Elevate so far, just taking their sweet time, as you mentioned. This is not the comfort pick. There we go. Candy. And I thought it was Susano who went for the pick, but at least we do have some cavalry here, should that go bad. Okay, here we go. Looking good on the side of Elevate. Last couple of players here for rivals. Let's see. GB on Winery. Relaying the information to AG. They're going to go for a pinch. There's information. They saw Susano already.
GB, of course, wielding the locals, eliminates Yopi. GB gets close. He decided to handle Susano. Once again with Chloe trying to attempt to dance, but he couldn't. I mean, it was a close game. I mean, for Elevate, they had the numbers advantage on that one, but with the pick-off, they decided to equalize the numbers, and then from there, amazing show of like display of aggression coming in from rivals. I think this might be the last round that they are holding this C4. I mean this bomb.
Man, in that situation, no amount of strafing could save you. Here we go. 4 to 3. So far looking good once again on the side of rivals. We do have a bit of an equal here. Bit of a tie. 3 players apiece. AG still wielding the objective. Let's see. Halo picks up 1. Jin is out of there. So far we're looking good. Just a little bit of healing here. Taking their time. Let's see. Gotta wait for the backup.
Very patient coming in from these guys. Chloe, Susano, Yopi. Of course, they still have the numbers game just like the previous round. They have to do it right, and as I've said, they're just doing everything they could to eliminate. And with that, it's down to 1 versus 1, and finally Yopi surviving that bout. So that means Elevate is gonna get another point. So this might be good because anytime soon they're gonna be holding that laptop. So for the rivals, they're just savoring every moment.
That's true, man. At least the gap was closed even with 1 round. You know, even 1 round. That's important. Now that they do have a little bit of a breathing room per se, this could be a good turning point for Elevate. And look at that. Elevate seems to be pushing a little further than they were earlier. That's a good sign. You know, there's confidence there, Vince G.
Oh, signs of life there. Pin, Josh, of course. Oh, elevate! I was about to say that they're just trading kills. Candy, PJ, the remaining two. But look at PJ. PJ is gonna try to bait out
Okay.
AG. But I think, yeah, by standing in the corner, it's just safe to say that, is there another guy probably coming out? And when he checked, there is someone waiting for him. Nice bait.
It was. It really was. It was. I'd say that approach right there is as old as time, right? But it still works. It always works. You got to have backup. You got to have your buddy system going with you, right? So here we go. Elevate finally in control of the ticker over here. Here we go. Just as I say that, Vinci, I jinxed it immediately. Rivals already picking off 3 on the side of Elevate. PJ being the last casualty.
I mean, for Rivals, they're defending good. I was about to say that they're playing aggressive. It suits them as the attacker, but you don't see a defender playing aggressively. They don't need that bomb. They're just coming straight towards Elevate. They're just looking for that elimination and then the round win. But the remaining players has to play with that briefcase. Susano still holding this one, but he's just deciding on where should he go. Where should he carry that? I mean, B is quite vacant. No one is even there. So they're just trying to play it safe for now because they don't want to get eliminated.
Yeah, and it's tricky, man, because they are at basically at a 3-man disadvantage. We're looking at a full stack here on the side of Rivals. So going for the objective immediately, that's going to be a big problem, man. It's surely going to be drawing enemy fire. So, oh, real dangerous. Look at that. Susano. Man, this is a little too tense. Okay, never mind, ladies and gentlemen. All that build-up, all of that for a drop of blood on the side of Elevate. Not really even close to going for the objective, Vince G. Really sad.
I mean, the other side is quite vacant. They've just forgot to check it. And
Probably.
when they chose A, they didn't even know that all remaining players are just where they're waiting for them to come close. Wallbang attempt there. No one's gonna get hit. So safe to say they're quite safe. Elevate here still struggling with that briefcase. They're keeping an eye towards A once again. So they're just trying to go for a slow approach. 2 players guarding A site. There's a trophy there waiting, but look at PJ. He decided to go for Josh. Information has been relayed. Rivals now alerted as they rush towards the A site. So can they plant it? Can they force it? Yes, they did.
There it is for the first time. The package is out of their hands, bro. 3-6. And we're looking at a big advantage here, man. Look at the numbers are on their side. Time is on their side. Everything is falling into place for Elevate right now. They did lose 1 in the process, but now the gap has been reduced. Rivals, they're only up by 2 rounds, ladies and gentlemen. Elevate is slowly looking up. Again, no pun intended.
Looking up indeed, and by the way, they're just trying to get the glimpse of this game. You know, probably heat up, and maybe this might be the game changer that they're looking for. As Yopi started strong, eliminated AG out of this game as they attempt for a quick plant. They're rushing things right now as they go towards the B site. Rivals has been alerted. They're throwing a lot of nades toward their way. They're just exchanging blows one after another. Slides going inside. Josh gets close. Yopi goes for Chibi, and the trades doesn't stop there as Tin and PJ gets killed. But look at this. Candy wielding some locusts. This is quite a sight to see.
I hate being right in certain situations, Vinci, but yeah, with Candy, when his hands are steady, you can really be sure someone is gonna turn into a score. 5-6 here, ladies and gentlemen. Elevate has the engine started, or moreover, have they stepped on the gas for this one? Looking good. Susano wielding the objective here. Let's see if they're going to be able to go for the plant again. That was a very successful plant, if we can say so ourselves, Vinci.
They struggled to step into the hard point, but it seems like there's no excuse for them to hard step on the gas. And we can see right now, Elevate eliminating 2 players from the rivals. Tin wielding that shotgun, stopped by Yopi. And this means numbers advantage for them. AG on the pinch. He eliminates Claw, surviving with that wound on his stomach. Jibby gets given here by a shot here by the other opposing members for the Elevate. And Yopi,
Ooh!
he's the last guy for Elevate. They're trying to stop them, man.
Oh, man. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to be holding our breath here, ladies and gentlemen. This is really tough for Yopi. Not to mention, he's probably going to deal with 2 players who are very, very close to each other. If there is no point in separating now. Yopi slowly inching his way back to B. He does have the objective, so it is a do-or-die moment here if Yopi decides to plant now and draw the sights in his direction. 40 seconds more, Vinci, as we speak. Let's see if Yopi's going to get out of this untouched. Yep, that's definitely an alert.
Yeah, it seems like Rivals has been alerted. They decided to get back in towards the middle. They wanted to check on A, but they realized that, oh, this guy went B.
He's here.
So
He's here. Yeah.
he's here. So we don't have to go far as we could towards the winery. We have to get back into the open. Check for every potential corners for where Yopi's at. He might be after our heads. And with that, he's gonna come from behind. But no, it seems like they went in and checked every nook and cranny. GP going for the defuse. Can he get spotted?
One.
Yes, he did. And now that's one.
No time.
AG. No time for him. Shotgun finish for Yopi.
What a genius play, though. Ladies and gentlemen, just like that, the lead is gone. The lead is gone.
Amazing.
I have no words. I have no words right now, dude.
These are the top teams, by the way. So I'm expecting that this game is as close as it can get. And here we are. Elevate here getting their momentum back. And they decided to equalize the game. So now, with this kind of anticipation, oh my goodness. I was just about to say, they're just trying to slow things down. But Candy, he wants to get things done quick.
Impeccable timing as well for Kendi over there. So, and again, that's such unfortunate. It's a timing issue, but there it is. There's a good trade here by Yato. Oh, how are they going to do this? Yep, they're going to be playing close to the chest here. 4-4, equal footing, equal number of players. Oh, man, Josh with the PKM. No dice. Yopi takes him out.
Ooh. Amazing takedowns here, ladies and gentlemen, with 3 players up against 2. Yato, Tin needs to collaborate, needs to work together. But Yato got spotted as they search for Tin. Tin right now sees Susano, but Susano decided to jump, to slide right in front of his face and elevate. Look at that. They're smiling. Some of them are just game face focused, but the other guys, man, it's time for us to bounce back. We might be seeing our first ever control here in Garena Masters 11. Wait a minute, that was fast.
Kendi, what are you on right now, bro? Okay, 4-3 rather. Just as I said that. Here we go, 7-6, ladies and gentlemen. This is starting to look like a very dim day on the side of Rivals. Bomb has been planted, so Yopi definitely going to be on guard here. So PJ, just probably the one stray from the group. Let's see how this is going to be. AG trying to go for long here. And yeah, they have no choice, Vinci. They have to infiltrate. They gotta go in. Ooh! How'd he know?
They need to go in, but look at them. They're coming in one after another. Elevate here. Ooh. Wow, match point for them, 8-6, and they just need to win one more round. Oh my goodness, how can they decide to kick things off and then from there win a couple of straight rounds? I think that was like from 3, and now we're seeing 8-6. Hard stuff for Rivals.
Man, this is a heartbreaker for Rivals, honestly. Established such a good lead. But you know, their momentum's not like a freight train. You know, it kind of ran out of gas. But let's see how this is gonna be. Yopi once again, the drawing first blood. Kendi with a follow through here. Last 3 players on the side of Rivals here, Vince G. Are we gonna see it? The very first 1-1.
Maybe, just maybe, we're just getting close. It's up for Tin and AG to do the job. PJ and Candy is just there as well. 2 versus 2. And now they're searching for every corners of this map. Tunisia getting quite hot here. Rivals, can they force a round win on this one? But look at this, Candy. He decided to hold this brick face, bring it towards B, dial it up, forces Rivals to react. Can they go? It seems like no, not B. But A, we have to run. We have to get close. But can they survive the 2 guards guarding the site? Hello?
And they're going at the same spot. They're not going for a pinch. This is gonna be tough though. Candy already in the shadows. Spotted. We made contact. Candy, is he gonna be able to hold off the enemy? Yes, that's one. Are we seeing it? 1v1 here. Tin versus PJ. Oh no, is the nade good? Yes it is! Ladies and gentlemen, Elevate ties things up 1-1. Care of Search and Destroy.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Our first control map. Behold, we're done with 2-0s, and top 2 teams right now doesn't want to go the easy route. Yes, Elevate, they might have lost the hard point, but we cannot lose the Search and Destroy. And that is why Control will settle things for these 2 teams. Elevate, they elevated their way towards the top. It's quite hard, Pika, for them to beat their rivals, but they did here on this map.
Oh my gosh, what could be more epic? You know, what is a more epic way to start our day here, folks? But with a 1-1 between these 2 titans, as I mentioned earlier, these 2 teams who have never suffered a loss, handing off each other one of their own. So it's at 9-6 in what seemed to be a very uphill battle, ladies and gentlemen, for Elevate. They were able to turn the tides around. And as Vince G mentioned, man, it was all about being the attackers. Being able to set the pace really did change everything for Elevate.
Yeah, and as I've said, yes, they're struggling playing the defense. Might as well look for that rounds somehow, get some couple of wins, probably 2 or 3, and then from there they just snowballed out towards the victory. They decided to stop or halt rival from winning more rounds, but it seems like Elevate, they are giving us so much. I mean, for rivals, it has been a headache to deal with them holding that bomb. So ladies and gentlemen, folks, Control is underway. As I've said, one has to give, but I didn't expect that this series is just give and take.
Yeah, you know, we're not even done. Yeah, that's the reality, you know. We haven't even made a clear decision, ladies and gentlemen, who is gonna emerge on top between these 2 giants. We're still right now on even footing. It's 1 per team, 1 apiece. And if we're looking back at some of the action here, it's just too hard to tell who really had the upper hand here. In the beginning, obviously, it was really rivals, man. Look at the score before we went on a switch. It was such a nasty gap for Elevate to try and catch up on, but in the end, it was just something that clicked, and we don't even know what that is.
It just clicked. You mentioned Candy. Probably the guy is just waiting for his fingers to warm up, and it did warm up. He just lost a couple of rounds, but he's managing to get a lot of kills, maybe 1 or 2 as the defending side. But when they decided to be the attackers, that's where he shined the most. A lot of collaborations happen here. I mean, for PJ, PJ and Yopi, they're getting their hands dirty. For Candy, he's just doing some crucial eliminations right from the start, from a distance, and this helps Elevate to somehow set up the pace for their comeback.
Yeah, that they did, you know, and if I'm gonna add to the point you made, man, like I feel that Yopi play, that the equalizer per se, you know, the 1v2 at the very tail end of that 6-5 lead, that was such a difference maker. And here we go, this nade right here, this closer of the book was so picture perfect. PJ landed right on the legs. It's a beautiful handiwork, no doubt about it. I was gonna make my prediction here, and Yopi with 17 eliminations really was the man of the hour. at least for that search and destroy.
Yeah, Yopi, PJ, of course, they land a couple of kills. PJ closing that game with a bang, but Yopi, of course, contributing so much for their team. 17 eliminations, 1.7 KDA, I must say, but Elevate, of course, with Yopi being the man of the match, they did a tremendous job into forcing a decider in this series. So the Battle of the Titans has to conclude with control.
It had to be that, man. No 2-0s for these two teams. And need we say less, right? Like, need we say more or less, if I can say so myself? Because these two teams, they never suffered a loss, folks. This is how important this is for both of them. Both of them got a chance each to hit each other in the chin, and that they did. So this is big. Now it is now a matter of who's gonna knock the other one out. That's how important this is, because that top spot is so important getting to the playoffs.
Ooh. Speaking of control, here we go. It's time to choose the venue. It's time to select a map, and it seems like it has been settled. We bring the action in standoff. So it is gonna be a standoff between Elevate and Rivals, and let's see who is gonna survive and who is gonna lose their lives here on this gruesome control map.
I have so much dismay deep down, having to see two of the banned maps that these teams agreed upon banning. We have Raid and Crossroads Strike, which I've grown to love these maps, man. Like, especially Crossroads Strike, because it's such a complicated map which fits the formula of control. But what are we gonna do? Standoff really is the it map for both of our teams, and that is what it is, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. We are in for a beautiful, a very artistic match number 3.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Each teams will be starting off with 30 lives, but it seems like Elevate needs to step into that hard point. They need to contest that. It seems like bodies need to be found. 27, 3 kills per each team is gonna matter in this game. Tin spots one as well. He aims for Claw. Susano also goes for AG. And now, Elevate is gonna try to somehow step towards the first control point as they successfully save their first checkpoint. But for Rivals, they're just having a hard time picking up the other players for their Elevate. It seems like the momentum is growing towards them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Look at Objective Alpha. Okay, here we go. So that's one player down. That's gonna be a bit of a softer take here on the side of Elevate. But look at that, Alpha still going, and a lot faster this time. We're gonna add one more minute, are we? Yes, sir. That's 2 minutes on the board, giving Elevate a little bit more time to at least shave off the last 13 lives of Rivals.
Rivals right now, they need to make this count. You cannot drop faster in this one. Elevate, they have a lot of bodies. They have a lot of lives to consider here as well. But they just need to focus on B. That's all. They just need to step towards that objective. But look at how Elevate is cleaning up house, reducing the numbers towards 9 lives. Make that an 8. And now they're not even wasting time as they go in, finding a lot of players for the side of Rivals. It seems like they don't want to step towards the B, and they're just gonna count to 5.
Yeah, that they do. Now this is the final round on the side of Rivals, right? So as soon as you're picked off here, ain't no coming back. So last 3, 10 life lead for Elevate, and they're still gunning for Bravo. Last 2 lives here to give Elevate their last 2 frags here before they get their first capture, their first score on the board. 9-1, uphill battle here. Jibby, oh man. And I know for a fact that this is not really a very comfortable zone for Jibby. He just went for a self-inflicted casualty. Ladies and gentlemen, instead of giving the score, here we go. 1 on the board for Elevate.
He knew the outcome. 1 versus 9, I must say. It's technically not 9, but of course 9 lives for the side of Elevate. It's quite hard to deal with, especially if you're the final guy. But side switch, ladies and gentlemen. Now I think Rival needs to step up as Elevate is gonna try to delay the inevitable. They need to capture objective starting from Alpha. So it seems like they're gonna focus on kills first and then go for those objectives. How can they eliminate the members of the Elevate Rivals? Oh, Predator Missile has been used here. Susano gets 10.
Yeah, man, apart from the Preds, you know what? We notice a lot of investments here already coming into play. Everybody's cashing out everything, right? And look at that. Rivals also doing the same, returning the favor with the War Machine. A lot of these good frags, ladies and gentlemen. And while we say this, Vinci, around this same time earlier on, there has already been a captured objective. Unfortunately, Rivals unable to do it on their end.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for them to take Alpha right now. Two-thirds being stepped here. So Rivals here, they need to buy some time. They did defend though, being contested by the Elevate, but seems like they stopped Rivals from stepping foot. As we see the lives equal 14, 13, Elevate here needs to somehow delay them from stopping. So if Elevate decided to stop Rivals from accumulating points, well, it's gonna be them as the winners of this series, but it's just quick. I mean, a lot of explosion happened here with the Preds from Jibby.
Okay, and more utilities flying all over the place. This is very sad in my opinion. The fact that Rivals is unable to mirror exactly what Elevate did earlier, buying them time. Now, it is a bit of an uphill battle here on the side of Rivals. But if I'm going to say so myself, 5 lives to 7 is still looking pretty okay for Rivals. They just have to eliminate the last hurrah of Elevate over here. Josh, yep, narrowing the numbers down 6-4 here.
6-4, still doable. Make that 3. Elevate here. Needs to play it safe. B has been captured. A is gonna be the remaining objective. 1 minute left. So they decided to extend the game with a minute. So Kalo here. Josh is gonna be on his sights, but he decided to go towards a safe area, corner of that wall right there. And now with Yato sneaking in, alerting the members of the Elevate. Hello there, PJ, sir, as he took Yato out, not for dinner, but to take him out. But 4-1.
What do we expect? What are we gonna expect here, ladies and gentlemen? Rivals versus Elevate. A never-ending bout, but it had to happen. You know, someone has to draw the line. In this scenario, it is Rivals tying things up 1-1. Are we gonna get any closer here? This is just a first to 3, ladies and gentlemen, and it already feels like an eternity for everybody.
No doubt. Eternity, give and take. You win the first round, we're gonna be taking the other. That's what's the name of the game for these two teams as they spread out, get couple of lives here in control map. No one's rushing. We saw Elevate earlier on, decided to make it quick, capture objective Alpha as fast as they could, but right now they're just trying to keep it slow, Pika. No one wants to somehow rush things because it's either lose your life or probably give something to your opponents. And for Elevate, it's a matter of how can we somehow capture one of the objective. It seems like they don't care about Alpha. It's all about Bravo.
You're right. It is right now. It is a mix of both, right? There's the objective play, and there's the cautiousness, the carefulness that they had to impose when it comes to their lives. 19-17, Jibby letting it rip all over objective Bravo, but Kalo stopped him in the process with a couple frags. 17-15 here. Bravo is already starting to tick, but look at that, good interception, great interception here on the side of Rivals.
Wow, Rivals, of course. With that interception, they got a couple of bodies and they decided to stop Elevate from taking down Bravo. Josh now looking for someone, sees Susano, he goes inside, kills the trophy, throws in something else. Susano, of course, with that Tempest skill towards Josh. PJ Yopi gets 2. Yato, on the other hand, sees Candy, takes him out. Jibby is gonna try to run towards the objective, but there's 2 players guarding. Can he go for a whiff? Candy survive.
Oh man, 9-6. Both these teams are on single digiters. 9-4. Oh man, not looking good with only 16 seconds to spare, Vince G. There we go. Yopi finds Yato. 7-3. The end is nigh, ladies and gentlemen. We have 5-2. And both the objectives are slowly starting to get consumed. Alpha, are they gonna prolong the agony? Are you serious right now? Yes, they are. 1 more minute for only 6 more frags for both these teams.
Man, okay, I was just about to say, can they handle a 2 kill per each player? But now Susano has the task of eliminating 3. This is gonna be a hard task for him. He has 53 seconds to search the entire map for bodies, for lives. He sees Steen. He's not gonna waste any more time. He gets close, might be the bait, throws in some nade, decided to hold it otherwise, and he got caught.
I'm gonna say this as deliberately as possible to all of you watching there here in Garena Masters 11. Rivals, ladies and gentlemen. They're 1 round away from taking over Elevate. A multifaceted champion team here, ladies and gentlemen. Rivals. They're so close, but here we go. I know that Elevate has something to say there, ladies and gentlemen. Candy whipping out the War Machine, going in for the kill. 25 to 27. Elevate has the upper hand, Vince G.
Elevate right now, they need to somehow equalize this game. And now Candy eliminates AG. Candy goes for 2. Jibby gets Claw out of this game as they're gonna try to rush things. Alpha is still vacant as well as Bravo. Rivals are just spreading around the map with Yato entertaining 2 players in the door. But look at Kalo is now trying to dance with Yato as he decides to climb up and check the window instead.
Gonna get back to that granny spot, but right now we are by gas station. 19 to 20. PJ, here comes the cavalry. Is he gonna go for a flush in? Is he gonna go for a backdoor play? We're headed right back here, ladies and gentlemen. 19 to 19, and no objectives have been seized up until now.
Rivals on the move, actually. They wanted to extend some timers because they knew there's a lot of lives, but a death machine just to welcome Candy. Josh right now, of course, that's quite heavy. You need to step down as they took his life. 12 to 12, Equalizer being wheeled, but he got caught instead. AG again wielding an Annihilator, goes for Yopi's head as he stepped towards the B side. Bravo, now Elevate members rushing in. They're trying to contest, they're trying to eliminate. AG checking every corner. The alleyways are quite vacant, but he got caught here by Yopi. Josh AG is gonna be the victim. Teen having to wield the equalizer. Sees Kalo went low, went high on that equalizer kill as now Rivals is struggling with lives as they had 3 to 7.
And speaking of 3, it's like 3 seconds stuck here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, no.
Elevate. Oh no! Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to a final round of our first series today! This is actually happening, ladies and gentlemen. 2 of the best teams right now here at Garena Masters 11. Giving it their all. Neck to neck! Oh my goodness. Did you see that? There was a bit of a blink already on Objective Bravo. Oh, never mind. Alpha's getting it too. But the first couple frags here goes to the side of Elevate.
Wow, they want to rush things. They need to be ultra aggressive. Elevate here needs to take objective. And also, they also need to take lives. Jibby waiting for them to come out as he is readying his gun, spraying all of his weapons. But a lot of members of Elevate has been playing aggressively, Pika. They're just sliding one after another. And even the guards, the players defending all those objectives, they cannot handle the aggression that Elevate is showing in this last control round.
Oh man. Okay. PJ just got jumped on. 26 to 17 here. And we've added another minute on board already at the expense of Objective Alpha. Looking at Bravo slowly being overtaken here. Let's see if this is going to be effective. Candy with the War Machine manages to find one. Sano also. But he does get traded off. Kenji still on it with 3. Good for 3. Up until Tin enters the picture. 20 lives. Make that 19 against 12.
Yopi gets double the damage, double the fun with that nade kill. Candy with the pred once again with Kalo wielding the nade kill towards Josh. 8 to 16 Rivals. They lost so many lives. They lost Objective Alpha, and it seems like Bravo is in the hands of Elevate. Can they step up? Can they get towards this game? Elevate, imagine. They struggled at hard point But right now, control, objective is the name of the game, and it seems like they doesn't have a problem stepping towards these two objectives.
Ooh, looks like that, man. 100% more lives here. JV able to stand his own. But now we're looking at 15 to 16. Make that 14 though. And Bravo already throbbing. It looks like it's in pain. It is about to be taken. 3 lives to 14, ladies and gentlemen. The summit looks like it is about to welcome Elevate, ladies and gentlemen. The apex of our match number 1. It is within vision. It is within sight. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, just as we were about to say that it's the last glimmer of hope for Rivals, it did not happen. Elevate, taking it for this final match. Amazing.
What a game for these top teams, top 2 teams here in Garena Masters 11. And now, 2 Titans clash, and Elevate decided to go into that summit that you've mentioned. By the way, it is a reverse sweep because in the first mode, the hard point, it was quite hard for them to accumulate points because Rivals had that early momentum. They kicked off in Search and Destroy, and they settled the score here in Elevate, which is quite close, but they ended up with a 2-3 score.
Yes, that they did. And again, man, it's not like it was really far off, right? Both these teams, they put their best up front. Hence the score, bro. Like, we had to get to a 3-2 here. We had to get to a 3-2. But ladies and gentlemen, Elevate continues their reign of terror and dominance here at Garena Masters. Look at that. Yopi once again, bro, taking the MVP for control. This just goes to show how consistent he can be.
Consistency is the key for this guy. As we check the replay, I must say, Elevate, it seems like they stepped up their game after SND. Control, this gives them some adrenaline rush to somehow start off very strong. And with the momentum stopper coming in from Rivals, winning the next 2 rounds in this in this control map, I think the future is quite dim for the Elevate. Until control round number 4, wherein we saw that Elevate somehow eliminates the members, go towards the B, and then with the numbers game, with the lives on their side, it's an easy task for them to equalize this mode. And with the equalizer, with the decider in this last round, things needed to be settled, and this happened, ladies and gentlemen. They owned that game with Rivals somehow resisting. They're trying to do whatever they could. A lot of nades from the Elevate ended this one with a bang. A lot of nade action, by the way, in the Preds being used here in this mode.
Yes, absolutely. And I like the fact as well that, if I'm going to be completely blunt here, I feel that the biggest advantage right here of Elevate were that we're winning so many of the gunfights, man. I do think that it really became the turning point. So once again, without a doubt, it is Yopi with 36 elimination, more than double of how he did in Search and Destroy, obviously. So, folks, need we say more? Elevate right now, they are back to the top, rubbing their hands together, waiting for who dares look in their direction once again, Vince G.
I mean, for Elevate, yes, they had been on top of the mountain for multiple times, but it seems like the climb never stops there. If they wanted to reach the skies, it seems like they're gonna go at it. And for Elevate, they're just raking up wins after wins. So it has been fun seeing these 2 teams clash, top 2 teams, to see who's the better one. But it's not gonna be an easy game for both of them. Rivals put up a really solid fight. They decided to hand Elevate their first loss for this entire tournament, but Elevate, they had that receipt. We don't want that loss. We want to do it flawlessly. We want a 2-0 if possible, but with that, they decided to go on a 2-1. PJ hugging himself out, He did so well for this entire series, and that's why he's the entire MVP for this series.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Elevate, they did manage to get the big W here, but not without resistance, right? Not without a little bit of resistance on the side of rivals. So we really gotta give them also the credit where it's due for these teams. But because of that, man, 6 series points up top here for Elevate, just further cementing their spot here on our round robin stage. Still 0 match losses so far, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, Elevate continues to dominate, but rival esports, of course, with their first loss on hand, they need to somehow work it out because they still have a lot of matches to consider. I mean, there's 4 more days next week for them to prepare themselves and bag the W as much as they could in order for them to be the top team alongside with Elevate. So Garena Masters 11 Pika is gonna be something. There's a lot of potential teams in the bottom there of our round robin that can catch up, can put up a fight, and that's what we need to see on our next few series.
I can't believe that was the first set. Ladies and gentlemen, that was actually our first match for the day. It just went on forever and in the best way possible. So there you have it, 1 down. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the last round robin day for the week. So it's going to be very important for these teams to try and get as much points as possible. You know what that means? It's also not too late for the rest of the teams down there to try and capture a little bit more, a bit more juice to put on the board.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, at the end of this round robin, only 4 teams will be proceeding towards the playoffs. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare for our second series, Unbelievable, we will be heading towards a short break because Garena Masters 11 will be right back.
The dust has been settled for our first series here, ladies and gentlemen. For Garena Masters 11, my name is Pika, joined by Vince G over here. And yes, what felt like absolute cinema has finally come to an end. And now we're moving to our second series for today.
Speaking of absolute cinema, Pika, glad that you mentioned that one up. So we've seen our two titans battle it out. So that means one has to give, and Elevate, of course, standing on top, Rivals gave it to them. But on this next series that we have, Pika, these two teams are just sitting down the bottom, but this is probably good news for them because the curse will be broken, or will break here on this series. One will definitely win up against this VİZUALZ CAERI and AMG.NL.
Now, you see, the bad thing is one will be left in the dust, right? It is the reality. While one of them crawls out of the abyss at the expense of the other, it's gonna be a little bit more painful, ladies and gentlemen. But let's see how that's gonna be a little bit.
Yeah, I'm pretty much excited to see how will this series, proceed, because we've seen the battle of the top teams. It's close. We've seen them forcing a first control, but if your first win is at stake in this series, I mean, we may be expecting a control map, just like we've seen in Elevate versus Rival. So will VİZUALZ CAERI and AMG.NL give us a very close fight, just like the first series, or is this gonna be a 2-0? Or, as we've said, one of these teams will be left out in the dust?
And this decider map right here, I'm keeping. Yes, I was gonna say I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I do hope it's Combine, my favorite hardpoint map ever, or at least within the competitive rotation. This is a beautiful map, ladies and gentlemen. It's very compact. A lot of good spots, a lot of good moments have been made here. I'll be honest here, Vince G, I'm gonna keep an open mind on how these teams are gonna be, because this is a battle for survival now. It is not just for pride or points. It is just trying to stay within the game.
Interesting for us to see Combined finally here on the hard point, but let's see how will the combined effort of these players reach 250. So of course, if you will be sharing your experience here in this map Combined, of course, as your favorite map, what are the key points they need to watch out for? What are the very crucial points? Just like what we've seen on Takeoff, P number 2, quite hard. Combined, is there a hard point there on this map as well?
Absolutely. As with most of the hardpoint maps, right? P1 is always going to be a problem because it's a bluff point right there. It is always going to be a big question mark on who's gonna hop in, right? Especially here, you're just going to be around the Humvee. You're just going to do your best to survive long enough there. And what makes this very crucial, in my opinion, Vince G, is that this hardpoint also has 2F control. Like your second floor on hardpoint number 1 is still very crucial. You have opponents coming from either side, like from both sides of the Humvee. So you gotta keep your head up. Not to mention, you need a good amount of control coming off of hardpoint 1 to hardpoint 2. Hardpoint 2 is such an enclosed space, in complete opposite of hardpoint 1. So I guess that making sure that the money hill falls on you, as you said, right? Hardpoint number 2, it's a problem. So hardpoint 2, I think that if I'm gonna narrow down what I said, it's whoever has the confidence to stand in hardpoint 1. That's the big deal.
Yeah, especially hardpoint 1 is gonna set up the momentum, the pace of this game. Once you get the first point, that means you had that advantage. Your opponent needs to catch up on those points. And will they contest? Will they eliminate? So we will be seeing a lot of gun fights in this one, eliminating them as fast as they could. Nades being flown out on this map as we head towards the combined map, ladies and gentlemen. Who is gonna take the first step? But the first kill will be going towards Mamra.
Oh boy. And that was already a flurry of bullets here, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, yellow start here, folks. Yeah, SKAERI already taking the lead, but immediately just leaves the hard point empty. Just trying to go 1 foot in, 1 foot out, Try to get as much frags as possible. You know, the sooner you get your operator skills and your score streaks, the bigger advantage you have moving forward. Now, Vinzi, if I'm gonna say something about score streaks here and or operator skills, 2 of the 4 hard points are indoors, so that's gonna limit a lot of the utilities moving forward.
Yeah, speaking of which, Visual Scaries here getting the first 20 points, and they have 20 more seconds remaining for X. It seems like they're struggling. They're struggling to set foot. Finally, they decided to get the remaining 10 seconds, but Visual Scary says otherwise. We will be getting this last few points as X decided to abandon P number 1 because, as you've said, P number 2 may be as crucial as it gets.
Yes, man, I'm telling you right now. Because, once again, you only have like a couple doors to try and watch out for. Here we go, just like I said. There it is, man. Once again, we're turning yellow. Scary looks really, really convincingly strong here. Look at that. And they've already whipped out some operator skills, man. Interesting choice. Now, 6 points on the board on the side of Nocturnal. Yeah. But again, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Nocturnal. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I am a fan of Nocturnal.
But speaking of which, they're doing everything they could to step on that hard point. Visual Scaries not wasting any time. 33 seconds remaining in P number 2. Even Rex wielding that war machine, throwing a lot of explosive nades towards that door. Sebio with a death machine gets to Angge, RG, and Miku found their kill as well. Mamra with an explosive popcorn there with a switchblade kill amounting to 3. NL, not gonna lie, he's doing well, but he got taken out. So Visual Scary here, they wanted to dominate as fast as they could. Pred going down, and no one. Oh, it seems like Miku received that one.
Yeah, he did. He was on the unfortunate end of that Predator missile. Here we go. Laps also finding a little bit of damage right there. But look at the gap though. It's 78 to 11 right now. And it is scary. It looks, all pun intended, it looks scary the entire way. So a little bit of blue here on the hard point, some tug of war. But Pickle, one of my favorite IGNs by the way. Pickle just stays in within the hard point, lets that claw rip. Unfortunately, it's going to be a very successful blue retake here.
Yeah, it seems like this may be the chase that X needs to do right now. They just have to step on that hard point, but we can see some claw being utilized here. Pange with the popcorn kill towards Chroma. Eusebio gets 2. Mamra also getting NL here, but now this means business for Visual Scary as they approach their first 3-digit point. It's gonna be 100, and X is doing everything they could to somehow savor the last few seconds, but Visual Scary wants to get into 100.
Woo! Okay. That's a ways to go right there for Nocturnals, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see, Angge in the back door here, just trying to shoot within that smoke, man. That is not fun for everybody. Here we go, Laps with the equalizer. Unfortunately, it's not really good for a lot. Back to hardpoint number 1 in just in less than a minute here, folks. So let's see if this is gonna be this hardpoint number 4 is gonna be a turning point for Nocturnal. Angge so far has been on good patrol up until I said that. My goodness.
What an amazing display of aggression with Miku wielding that death machine, welcoming every players of Visual Scary. You're not gonna get close. We have to get this one, but Visual Scary says otherwise. We had the hard point in our hands. We had this under control, and we can see some explosions coming in from some nades provided here by AMG.NL. But this time around, Laps NL is looking for some pick-off. Dioric working hand in hand with this guy because they need to catch up. I think this is still possible if they keep the momentum in their favor. They just need to dominate all those up and coming hard points, but Visual Scary is a very tough cookie to crack.
Oh, absolutely, man. Big shell. This is insane. So far, let's see. Okay, hard point still empty right now. I do feel that Scary right here, they understand it. They feel the momentum. We don't have to work twice as hard right now. We gotta go for the big push a little later on, man. They do have a long ways to go, as I mentioned earlier. However, the frags still need to keep coming here, Vince G. They know that they gotta pile up for those score streaks and the operator skills. Speaking of, look at that. Sebio, once again, with the death machine, able to take up as many names, put him on the board as much as possible.
And speaking of many names, of course, we need to get them on our kill board, ladies and gentlemen, as they are stepping foot here on the RV. They're just trying to make sure that every point is gonna be awarded towards Visual Scaries, ladies and gentlemen. The fight doesn't stop there because we can see the hard point now quite vacant. Laps gets his kill, but they're working hand in hand. Pickles gets spotted here by Laps, and they're not letting this one go. They wanted to go towards 70, but is it gonna be enough?
Oh, I really highly doubt it, but at least it's a good enough torque, you know, just a bit of momentum for them to try and move on to the next hard point with, or at least the journey slowly shortens. However, not if SKAERI has something to do about it. Here we go, Ange once again with a bit of that War Machine, putting on the hurt. Is it successful? Yes, it's good enough. Now let's see, last shell on the board, but does get taken out in the process. Was it a good enough investment though?
Good investment. Can we see the fruits of that labor, ladies and gentlemen? RG. Oh, Sebio gets 2 with Rex also contributing to that kill as well. It seems like Visual SKAERI wants to scare AMG.NL on this one, and Pickle with that will with the claw will, but he's not surviving that equalizer shot, and they're just trading blows one after another. RG welcoming every visitor sliding towards that door with a switchblade, but Rex decided to take the matters into his whole hands, and we can see the switch, ladies and gentlemen. Last few seconds, and the hard point will rotate.
Let's see how this is gonna be, especially on the side of AMG. This is not gonna be pretty if they don't. Oh, there we go. I had to jinx it. They did manage to draw first blood, but the retake was easy over here on the side of SKAERI. Once again, a bit of an interception, and already looking real successful here on the side of AMG. So far, 93 and counting. Are they gonna break through 100? Slowly take the pain away.
Slowly take the pain away, but that's gonna hurt. Chroma, Sebio, and now Miku eliminating each and every one with the brute force of a death machine. But of course, he's gonna be exploding. Rex, War Machine, he's gonna go in. Lap still survived that one, and we can see Sebio once again with the War Machine of his own. Jorik receives the bitter end of that one, but it's now done for that. We can see Sebio. I think this guy's quite hot. He's not even collapsing. He's still alive. I jinxed it. He fell down.
It's about to happen, man. Commentators curse, you know, every now and then. It's bound to happen. 105 to 199. I thought it was just me, man. I thought I have the bigger jinx. But for you know, I feel that it really just happens to everybody. 105 to 202. Slowly but surely, we have AMG closing the gap. It is still 100 points, Vinci. That's still a couple of hard points worth. And look at that. And SKAERI also not allowing them to get off that easy.
But you know, I think Eusebio, he managed to get a couple of like 3, 4, or 5 kills before he got taken out. But the amount of pressure is on the side of AMG.NL because if they wanted to equalize the score, there's a lot of points to be there's a lot of points needed for them to equalize them with a 220. So that means you have to hard stop Visual SKAERI. Sebio says otherwise. I want to get 2. Rex also gets 1 as well. And we can see the Visual SKAERI working hand in hand to accumulate those points because they just needed around 20 seconds for them to solidify this hard point map. But it seems like if time is not on the side of AMG.NL, they have to focus on P number 1.
Yeah, they do, and it's already a dangerous territory to be in. Let's not forget, there's a lot of anxiety that's gonna build up with point number 1. Second floor control. We have an open space, man. Should there be just one, literally one good explosive, it can fish off everybody who's standing at the hard point. Now, speaking of standing, no one is actually. This is what I was talking about. You see where Mamra is? This is a very crucial spot to be in if you're trying to take P1. Here we go. A few Tempest frags over there. Mamra looking good. Good for 3, Vinci.
Yeah, good for 3. And with that spot, he managed to make sure that that one's vacant. And he's trying to attempt to spot potential contenders there. And with the Tempest elimination, it's quite good for him. He jumps towards the hard point, and they keep the points rolling. Visual Scary, they're just counting time. And AMG.NL, they wanted to contest this. 5 more seconds. Heavily contested by AMG.NL. Now we have to switch venue. We go towards the insides of P number 2.
And I cannot believe that this is where it will possibly end, man. Hardpoint number 2. Up, hold that thought. We're going to be looking... Oh, yeah, I feel that this is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Pickle, as he made his way to the door, also got interrupted. 2 more seconds. Is AMG going to be able to hold them off for nearly 100+ seconds here? Almost an impossible task. And you're going to run out of operator skills eventually, ladies and gentlemen. Are we sensing it? The conclusion to this match to get out of the quicksand, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, 2 more points, and we are gonna award hardpoint to Visual Scary.
I mean, for AMG and Alex, they see a glimmer of hope in P number 2. But as you've said it, they need 100 seconds, and 100 seconds doesn't fit P number 2. That means they have to rotate P number 3, go towards the other hard points, and will they hold it? That's the big question. So there's a lot of patience need to be consumed there by AMG and Alex. So Visual Scary went all in and decided to take the remaining 2 seconds of this round.
It's crazy how I had to say this, but they literally died on that hill. You know what I mean? They really did die on that hill because they had to. They had to make every second count. It's insane because Scary was literally 2 seconds away, ladies and gentlemen, 2 ticks from taking out the entirety of the competition and to win their very first match. However, it is what it is. As Vince G said, someone really has to cave in. In this scenario, it is AMG. Congratulations to Scary, especially Rex, who bagged the MVP with 47 frags.
47, and of course the amount of time in that hard points, a minute and a 40. Wow, he stepped so much in that hard point, making sure that the points is gonna be on their favor. So how many points is like 1 minute and 40? So 60, 100. Yeah, 100 points is a lot for them to take here, and that's quite easy for them to accumulate 250 with Rex's effort as the one stepping and as the one checking in this hard point.
Basically accumulated points, ladies and gentlemen, for the entire team. You know, it really plays the part. But at the end of it all, it's not just about pointing and shooting. It is also about cohesiveness, right? Like, it's cohesion. It is about who enters the hard point, gets frags within the hard point, because they actually give more. So it really is a matter of how you communicate and how you relay information, as well as just winning your gunfights. Remember what I said a while ago, Vinci, that they had to hold the fort for 100 seconds. Granted, that's impossible. It's just there's no more room, right? There's no room for mistakes there. It's not just stepping in the hard point, but winning the gunfights, for sure.
Yes, for sure. And speaking of which, guns, of course, you have to worry. That's one thing, but nades, Predator missiles, that's another thing. You may be surviving the bullets, but of course, those explosions coming in from those nades, those war machines, it's really hard for you to toughen up, especially in that pressuring moments in that hard points. And that is it for our first mode. Hard point will go towards Visual Scary. So can Visual Scary close this with a 2-0, or probably AMG and Alex will be putting up a fight here in Search and Destroy?
You know, I'd be cursed if I say that today was a day of 2-1s, man. Because that might actually happen. Remember, it is this final day of the week for our teams to actually just put more numbers on the board. So right now, we know for a fact that Visual Scary is no longer in 0 territory. They at least have 1 victory. Now, again, it's a big question. As you mentioned, are they going to be peeling off with a 2-0? Or honestly, is AMG going to stand in their way? In this scenario, I will say it straight up. I am still torn. But what is apparent, though, is that Sebio, the man who he actually, his name left your lips a number of times a while ago, Vince G.
Yeah.
For very good reason. Look at how many eliminations he's got.
Yeah, look at that. 53 for a single hard point. 1.96 KDA for Mr. Eusebio right there, I just wanted to say the last name because it's quite catchy if you say the last name at least, you know. But Mr. Sebio does the job done. You know, there's an angst, there's a ring to it if you're calling the player or calling him by his last name, you know. Just like a student being called by the teacher in the class, you know. Mr. Eusebio, can you please stand up? He did for his team.
Yeah, you know, it has a ring to it, you know, like saying Baki Hanma, if so to speak, you know, stuff like that. Cool names, ladies and gentlemen. Now here we go. Oh, we are going El Clasico for this one, folks. We're headed straight back to firing range. It's just like we know. Since time immemorial, dude, like I'm telling you, since we can remember, Call of Duty Mobile has had firing range in rotation. So it makes absolute sense that our players will go back to, you know, square one, if so to speak, when it comes to search and destroy.
And with this map, of course, you know how this works. We can see some trailer action, and this map is quite fast. You know, you need to be fast-paced. You need to be ultra aggressive if you wanted to score. Be the attacker, plant the bomb real quick, and then make sure you go for that elimination. But I think the other players were not considered the plant. They're just gonna go for that kill because we all knew that this map, of course, has a lot of plywood. We're gonna try to see a lot of wall bangs there.
I like that you mentioned plywood, right? Because for some reason it's kind of synonymous really to firing range. A lot of people really think about firing range when you mention plywood or wooden house, right? Like wood house. Because like it doesn't even have to be search and destroy. It could be hard point because it's such a dangerous spot to be in. You know, everything pierces said plywood or the wood house, if so to speak. But one thing that I'm really dreading when it comes to firing range is the mid. Because middle control in firing range is almost impossible unless you have a sniper. Snipers who take control, especially in command center, and as you said, trailer control, White House, or basically the entire A side of firing range, man. So yeah, while the players, ladies and gentlemen, are readying up, and you just joined us, thank you for watching. This is Garena Masters 11. Still on the mic is yours truly, Pika, joined by Vince G. So if you did miss the action, this is day number 3. This is the third day of our round robin for this week. Unfortunately as well, it is our last day for the week for these players to actually gather those points. We're going to be resuming this in just a few days. Speaking of resuming, we are resuming the action, Vinci. Let's check it out.
And oh, speaking of checking it out, 1-to-1 trade there. Plywood action. Wall bang indeed. Wow. One has to give, ladies and gentlemen, but they traded wall bang kills in that early foul. We can see switch blade from Koroma eliminating Ange, and RG still rotating. Ooh, with the Locust too. Locust kills, man. How he do that? I mean, that's a fast flick.
Through the smoke as well. So, very interesting shot. Very interesting. Here we go. Yeah, NL has his hands a bit full here, at least with a one-man disadvantage. So let's see how AMG is going to be handling the... Hey, okay, nice peek. But unfortunately, too slow for that trigger pull. We have information though. Trailer has been compromised. It's safe to say that.
Yeah, Pickle here decided to take the matters into his own hands. He carries the briefcase. He planted it in, and he's just calling for RG, man. Look at me. I'm a Pickle. I have that C4. I had that bomb. I planted it very hard, and you have to react. You're the fast guy, and of course we have a lot of guns pointed at your head, and he cannot come close towards A side with that attempted defuse, but he's doing everything he could, man. But still, too many guns pointed at him. It's quite hard.
Yeah, at the end of it all, it's still 2 heads are better than 1, right? So it is the numbers game after all. Here we go. Oh wow, I felt that from where I'm sitting. Okay, control center. Once again, sadly, no plywood death, or no plywood or wood house eliminations just yet here. Let's see, trailer also not giving off any information on the side of SKAERI.
Oh, RG! Oh. Wow! How did he manage to get 2? I think in a span of like 1 second, he goes for a double. And RG gets his 3rd, ladies and gentlemen, with Rex being put towards his trophy, his collection of kills in this map. And now we can see the final guy for the side of Visual SKAERI, Chroma. He's gonna be the final guy regenerating a little bit of lost health here. Chroma with a switchblade on hand.
The
Dioric
timing.
now holding the QXR. Can he hold it? But he got spotted.
Ooh. I like that. You know, Vinci, just a fun fact. I know we haven't talked in a long time, or
Yeah.
much less with Call of Duty Mobile. QXR is one of my personal favorite SMGs, but because of how this weapon has changed from meta to a complete underdog, or at least for the most part, right? When's the last time you saw a QXR, right? When's the last
Yeah.
time you saw a QXR?
I think it's been a while, man. I mean, the only SMG that I'm quite familiar right now, I mean, I'm in love with Fennec, but you know, speaking of which, where is it? I'm not seeing it right now, you know? There's no Fennec, but they're focusing more on Switchblades and, of course, UXR here. We're seeing them trying to crawl back here into the game. It works for them, ladies and gentlemen. RG, of course, with a gun of his choice, of course, that Locust, is comfortable for him. And I mean, how many Locust kills that this guy has? In the previous round, he got 3. So, I mean, RG, you have to respect his sniper action. So, for them, AMG, they're trying to somehow catch him up. I mean, Laps, the final guy, he needs to deal with 3.
Oh man, I'm feeling for AMG right now, man. This is not looking good. 3 on his way. Yep, there it is. Even if you manage to pick off 1, right? This is we're dealing with a Hydra over here. Even if you take out 1 head, there's still gonna be a couple of it taking his place, or you're gonna have your hands full. So unfortunately, yep, AMG, they do have a little bit of catching up to do. The good thing is it's just very early on, Vinci. Like, this is literally 3 rounds in. So let's see what adjustments AMG has to make here. We saw that happen, by the way, earlier, right? We saw that between Elevate and Rival. So anything can happen.
You can be behind by how many rounds, but let's not forget, things can be reversed. Situations can switch. Chroma, Ange getting their kills for their team. 4 versus 4 that we're talking about here. So they're trying to reduce the numbers. Again, Chroma decided to eliminate Ange on this bout. And we can see Dioric took the fall with the hands of Pickles. RG, Laps, the remaining 2 for the side of AMG and Alex, as Visual Scary has Pickles, Sebio, and Chroma. Now, RG is inside the trailer. Laps on the outside. Can they spot the remaining 3 players and reduce the numbers of Visual Scary? But Pickle here sees RG. We're down to Laps, and Laps here, can he run a lap? Chroma's just waiting for him. He stood and he's gonna try to run for safety. And now for Laps, that's 2 versus 1. It's quite hard.
Yeah, that is a tall order, Vinci. That's 4-1. Not to mention the spot where he's in. There is no way that he could actually leave there without any information being relayed. A buddy system is imminent there, so it's 2-2, basically 2-1 that they had to deal with. Right, 3-1 here, and unfortunately, folks, not really a lot of objective plays.
Yeah, not objective plays because you wanted just to eliminate. You don't want to plan. That's all, because there's a lot of fast-paced action here and there. You know, you don't need to go towards Alpha and Objective B just to make the plant. You can eliminate them as quick as you can. You don't have to waste any time. And for them, it's just that, stomp here. Ange goes for Mamra, but it's gonna be a Lapse once again dealing with 3. It's gonna be hard.
Familiar picture here, ladies and gentlemen. Laps, though, picks off 1. Kind of shortening the gap, making the job a little easier. But despite then, there's still a lot of numbers to work with, man. As we mentioned, it's the manpower advantage of whoever has more remaining members. If I'm going to go back to what I said earlier, like the objective play between, basically in this particular set right here, it really didn't happen simply because of the gunfights lost, right? Because these teams, these players, the numbers wither down immediately. So yeah, going back to the point, not only are they unable to go for the objective, but they're unable to dictate the pace, Vince G. They have to adapt.
Now they have to. They have to quickly adapt into this situation. Visual Scary are now up by 3 points up against AMG and LX. So if they manage to get some rounds, and if they manage to switch sides, might as well boost their confidence in this one, just like what happened to Elevate. You know, it's really quite hard to somehow picture out a comeback, because we've seen Elevate pull that one off. But for Visual Scary, it seems like they have something to do tonight, and they wanted to end this as fast as they could. They wanted to go 9 very quick.
Yeah, man, and I'm trying to also think of why that is. I'm trying to sort that out. They're very young, you know what I mean? They gotta be somewhere if they, if that's so to speak, right? Like 5-1. If we're also gonna look at their records, since they haven't actually been winning a lot of their matches, right? If at all, both SKAERI and basically AMG, they never had the opportunity to go halfway through 9 for the past 2 days. So this is very important for them. If we're gonna look back at their search and destroy record, this is probably the highest, the highest that SKAERI has ever gone in search and destroy.
Yeah, of course, they're making the most out of it. They wanted to break into that curse. Angge sees Mamra, and now he's wielding a pistol. Of course, Calamity has befall towards his, because that's a 2 versus 1 with Miku trying to hug this site, but he's gonna try to dance with 2. He's trying to hide. He's gonna try to showdown with Pickle, but they decided to use the numbers into their advantage. VİZUALZ, SKAERI. I mean, I may be scared if I were AMG.NL, because how many rounds are left for them to win?
Man, this is tough. They're basically, if we go to a 7-1 with that switch, it's gonna look really bad. Here we go. Miku, a bit of vengeance here, taking out Chroma via the PKM. Again, one of our favorites again. So this right here, by the way, this is a record breaker already on the side of SKAERI, Vinci. They finally went past 5 rounds in search and destroy after 2 days. So yeah, this is gonna be very interesting. They're down 1 man though. Let's see if AMG is gonna be able to capitalize on that.
Yeah, they're making the most out of it, man. I mean, if they're trying to break free of the curse, might as well save up for that momentum. We might be needing that on the next week, because job's not done. Yes, they may be winning this series, but they also need to consider their opponents in this round robin stage. They have to face the other teams as well. So if they get some momentum here on this search and destroy, they might be bringing that one out next week. So this might be good, and a good eye opener for them. Eusebio somehow goes for Angge. I mean, for James, he's been playing it very well.
Yeah, that he is honestly. Here we go, 4-4. Even footing, not even on score. Oh my goodness! Just the very second that Miku turned away, he was unable to close that frag. So 2-2 here. Who's gonna get the upper hand? Objectives afloat though, Vinci.
They're taking it slow, man. They're trying to approach it very carefully, especially for Dioric. Oh, he spots one. Pickle down. No, you're not safe for me, my boy. 10 seconds is enough for me to talk to the briefcase and defuse the situation.
Okay.
Wow. Welcome back, AMG and Alex. Dioric, the man of that match, or the man of that round.
I like that. I like that. Remember what I said that the objective was afloat? I figured that he realized that there was also going to be an ambush there. No way they're going to leave that objective hanging, right? So, beautiful work. 6-2. Now, looking a bit more, I'd say a bit more stable. Still a long ways to go, Vinci. That's 4 rounds. And SKAERI just needs 3 more. Remember, they're able to close that out. Okay, with authority earlier on. Hold that thought. Angge, though, picks off Rex.
Woo! That's 3, man. 3 bodies lining up perfectly. If they get caught in that scope, he might be doing a fatal shot. Laps decided to do a slide right in front of his face and go for the kill. And now he's holding that pistol up. He's gonna try to run it quick, run it down. Dioric waiting patiently on side A. Dioric goes inside the trailer with a quick spray, but nobody's home. For Laps, it's all about the plant. And now 42 seconds remaining for VİZUALZ SKAERI to react. Sebio and the final guy, Chroma, what can he do?
Yeah, really tough situation here. Because while we're looking, I know for a fact that they're gonna wait. This is gonna be a bit of a stall. See, 20 more seconds to go. Right, and look at that Chroma, wisely not choosing to go to the trailer. He doesn't have any information, nothing concrete at least. Sebio, he realizes the pinch. Oh, but unable to get the job done. 1v1 here.
Dioric! Wow, this guy, I must say, is very good at camouflage. Okay, we know camouflages are a thing recently, but you know, he decided to spray himself with the color of the trailer, and then from behind he sneak past and go for a surprise kill. Amazing display from Jorik. I mean, man, he did the point. He awakened the entire team on the previous round, and he's doing it once again.
Oh, that he did, man. Okay, here we go. That's 5-4 so far. Let's see. I'm hearing a lot. I'm hearing a lot from this PKM. Yeah, there you go, Chroma. Let him have it. Let him have it. Make that that lead rain. Scary. Taking 2 in the process. That's a 4v3 situation here. And the objective, nowhere inside just yet, or at least no plan's gonna be ensued. They have to pick off at least 1 more here, Vince G. So far, it doesn't look like that's happening.
Laps. He's patient in the trailer. I think he's gonna go for the camouflage as well. He's gonna pretend that he's a chameleon, but look at this, Mr. Rex. He's gonna spray it out on that walls, but nobody is hiding on that one. Where are the other players? It seems like they have some information. The crouch is gonna do it for him. Laps eliminated Rex. Sebio goes for a trade. He went for Dioric, and Laps, the final guy. He got caught in that wall bang of events. Even if you're inside the trailer, you're not safe from my bullet, boy.
What were the odds that that was gonna happen, Vinci? What was that 2-piece, or at least what was that? But you know what? It's a 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000, maybe even a million chance for that to happen. Anyways, doesn't change the fact that we are now at 7-3. Just a couple more rounds here, folks, on the side of SKAERI, and they're gonna walk away with this with a little bit to bring home, or at least for the week.
And speaking of which, they're trying to force the issue here. If I were AMG and the legs, of course, we can still bounce back here. Now we had that bomb in our favor. We can set up the pace. Can we go fast? Can we buy time? Pickle knows someone is above, and they're trying to go for a peek. Also, Dioric, he knows someone is just behind him or just below him. He's just checking every window. He knows that maybe, just maybe, there's a possible head to pop, and I'm gonna try to eliminate them one after another. And with that peek, no one's home, and someone's climbing up the second floor. So for Dioric, it seems like he needs to go, but no, the patience pulled off. He sees Mamra.
Oh, I love that tracing, man. I was gonna say, oh, but at what cost? He is out of there. I was gonna say that tracing was magnificent on the side of Dioric with that switchblade. You don't really expect the switchblade to do as much damage off of ranged attacks, right? Well, we know this for a fact. But the three now, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, Laps still keeping his head down. He realizes that he's been spotted. But again, Chroma with the final touches there on Laps. 3v2 situation, Vince G.
But where is the bomb? It seems like, oh, it's on the ground. They need to approach this. I mean, Visual SKAERI is just defending it very well. It's very hard for Rex to approach because he gets caught by Miku. And the other 2 players here needs to be extra cautious. Number 5, Miku, of course, planting that bomb, but it's time for the Visual SKAERI to react, and the roles had been reversed. It's time to defend the site for the side of AMG.NL, RG, and Miku working hand in hand. Sebio, the final guy. Can James pull this off? Sebio with the scope on hand. Locus can get the job done. That is gonna be the big question mark for this guy. 2 versus 1.
Man, this requires both accuracy and a prayer. So let's see if Sebio is going to be able to defy the odds here. Is there any information? Oh, is there? No, man. You really entered the danger zone on that one. It's no way, because again, you have to look in 2 directions at once. Not to mention he has a sniper. Should he have had at least probably an SMG, right? He could probably shoot in two different directions simultaneously. But no, that sniper, it's going to be a lot of time in between. There's going to be some recovery time just by cocking the bolt. Here we go. Sebio watching jungle. No dice. 7-4 here, ladies and gentlemen. Still in potential advantage point here would be SKAERI.
Potential advantage point, and that's why you need to stop. If I were AMG and LX, I need to stop the momentum for Visual SKAERI, because 1 more round can mean match point. They just need to win 2 more. We need to get as close as we could, and for AMG and LX, they need to put in a lot of hard work. So for Laps, it seems like he needs to talk. He needs to plant it. He needs to set things up. But where is it gonna be? It seems like the venue will be on Alpha, and that's why Visual Scary, they decided to go together as Pickle's legs got caught in the crossbar, and now the bodies have been dropping down the floor. Oh my goodness, the sneak. I love the command here, man. They just decided to hold and then, man, attack. They just go in one after another.
Uh-oh. That they did, man. I didn't know that Call of Duty Mobile has jump scares, but you know, there it is.
There it is.
5 to 7 here. Yes, the gap is gone. Almost gone. It's like 2 away. Yeah, get a good whiff of that, buddy. You know, you need as much clarity as you can. So 7 to 5. Scary. They cannot slack off here anymore, Vince G. This is too close for comfort. Imagine there's only gonna be 4 minutes in between them before the catch-up.
4 minutes. And now they have to make the most out of this, Pika. We can see that the AMG.NL here, the blood is boiling for these guys because they see some opening, but of course that flashes towards Mamra, it's gonna hurt him with that wall bang towards Angge. Now, 1.5 minutes for them to do something with the bomb. Pickle, you're just waiting patiently on site B. And now the sprays are there. The pokes are just gonna give them some damage. But Pickles with a switchblade, amazing pull of effort. And we can see that the bodies for the side of Visual Scaries are just 2. Sebio, Rex up against RG, Angge, and Dioric. I mean, for the defenders, they have to defend hard. And as for Angge, I can see some opening here on A. Might as well make a run for it.
Oh, but I don't think they are, man. I think they're challenging. Here we go. 2 to 2.
Hello.
Objectives not really an option here. Yeah, they gotta say hi, you know. It is dos por dos if we were to say so ourselves. Okay, beautiful shot here from Angge. Now it is up to Rex right here to eliminate a couple of the competition. 1 down, 1 to go. With about 27 in hand, let's see if RG is gonna be able to close this out.
He's doing it. He's gonna try to bait it, man. He's gonna try to bait it out. RG is gonna try to peek. You press that keyboard, you're done. And there you go.
No.
I have to say this. 6-7.
You had to, of course you do. Oh, the young bloods. Anyways, so, in my book, it's 6-2-7. All right. So, anywho, but yeah, it is just too much of a temptation. But that's 2 minutes down, ladies and gentlemen. 2 minutes down before they catch up to the massive lead that was displayed to us earlier. 7 to 6. Scary. They still have their okay, they're still at a bit of an advantage there. Pickle gets traded out by Angge. Some steel house control here by Rex.
Throwing some nades one after another, but you know, you timed it up very well. We all know that 4 minutes is just flapsing for the side of AMG.NL. You know, time is now on their side. They're getting more momentum, more points, but we can see Visual Scary attempting the match point. Miku still alive with that briefcase. Can he cash it in? 1 versus 3. Miku now trying to rotate. He sprays 1. He sees 1, but the entire members of the Visual Scary has been alerted. Trailers being occupied. Sebio on the outside. He run towards safety. Can they pull up a patience play with Miku being just sure he's trying to go towards B because he knew that's quite vacant, quite a far stretch, but I think the rotations is gonna be worth it. He planted the bomb successfully.
This is a very big order, though. Like, again, a very big, very tall order, very big task, if so to speak, man. Because while he does have 27 seconds to work with, that's not a lot. That is still a bit of a stretch, right? That is a notable amount of time for him to try and come up with a play. Not only does he have to go for the objective, but he has to eliminate every single one, every single play remaining. The timing is awful, though. That's 1. Okay, not a lot of bullets to work with here. Got to go for the immediate reload. A bit of a hit marker, but no. Beautiful pinch. Beautiful pinch, my guy, on the side of Scary. You saw the cohesiveness of these players. amazing.
I must say, he shouldn't have challenged that because he had that opportunity to plant it on B. But he decided to rotate towards A and challenge Eusebio. We've seen the body split into two like a Kage Bunshin, man. He got confused. He's just praying in the middle. Miku with the redemption arc, he gets two as well. But you know, things can get worse, ladies and gentlemen. Visual Scary is just keeping an eye on that final point. They need to win this final round, but the amazing collaboration, the coordination with the two players on the trailer, deciding to jump at the same time and splitting from left to right, man. It was a pure cinema for me.
It was. Art at its finest. Here we go, 3v2. The PKM here for Chroma works wonders. Yep, you take your time reloading. That is PKM for you. That is, it's like trying to fill up a gas tank. And whenever you're reloading a PKM, less than a minute to go, and the objectives not at hand here on the side of AMG. It is out there somewhere, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the numbers have to dwindle down first. And speaking of, it already is. We're looking at a 2v3 at the very least. Chroma has his hands full. Sebio, Steelhouse control. Now, all they have to do, all that Visual Scary have to do here is hold for 35 more seconds. Granted, of course, that the objective stays where it is.
29 seconds and the clock is still ticking. Chroma is exchanging bullets with another guy. 2 versus 3, quite the pain to watch, and they reduce the numbers towards 2 to 2. Miku decided to step up, but Labs got caught by Rex. Now 1v2, and there you have it. Amazing aggression for Visual Scary. I must say, they respected the heart that is being shown here by the AMG.NL Lex. What a series.
It really was. It really was quite a series, especially that search and destroy, man. It was super, super epic as much as these characters are. But at the end of it all, you also have to bid adieu to a competition or like a contender for, you know, for putting you at the edge of your seat. Like giving or squeezing out as much as you can. At the end of it all, Visuals Scary, ladies and gentlemen, emerges as your victor, taking it a clean 2-0.
Clean 2-0 for them, and this is a good news for them because they decided to go up into the round robin scoreboard. And of course, the lose streak is now over, and Visual Scary, I think they just need to savor every moment because there's still 4 more days after this Sunday, Pika. So there's a lot of days for them to play out, and they need to focus. They need to concentrate on how can they go up into the playoffs. Top 4 is very much important here, Pika. So one series win is enough for them to boost their confidence. But can they do the job into the towards the next week?
And hopefully by then, you know, there's a bit of regrouping that's going on already for our teams, man. I know they have to learn from their mistakes. A lot of information to go around as well. So hopefully we'll see a change of scenery when it comes to our teams. Let's take a look back at some of the action here. Look at the lead, right? This is 5-1. Wow. I think the last we've seen of them. Never mind, it's 6-1. Right, there we go. Pardon us. 6-1 in favor right here of Scary. So there has been a bit of change after this, and it got a little close. Ooh. But at the same time, I feel that it was just a little too late, Vince.
Yeah, and I think the momentum chaser here is this one. Georic goes for that elimination. He did clutch that, and then with the defuse, and then he goes on for more rounds, or the next round after that. So Georic somehow kicked things off, started the heat for the side of AMG.NL, but of course, we are quite thrilled to see them climb into the 6th score. So that means there's a possibility of them to somehow tie up, but for the side of Visual Scary, of course, they're scared that their opponents might be after them. So they decided to win the last 2 rounds, and I think I wanted to see the pick off here. I mean, the rotation from B towards A, and then for Rex, I mean, he decided to go to, I mean, with that kind of 3v1s. So the challenge, I wanted to see that one because that's one of the core memories that I can remember for this entire series, you know. Two jumped in at the same time and then go for the left to right. That confused the heck out
Here
of
we
me,
go.
man.
Here we go. Yeah, it did. This was a beautiful play. For both
There
of
you
them.
go.
Look at that. Yeah. Almost no way you're gonna get out of that situation. I mean, I probably would have seen something in the movies, but that right there was just too cinematic. Overall, ladies and gentlemen, Visuals Scary just gave us one heck of a treat for our second set today.
Well, that's all said and done. Congratulations for Visual Scary, of course. You managed to get your first series win. But of course, it's not over yet for AMG.NL. They can still hunt for that first win and then produce a lot of kills. Maybe next week, we can see them try to dominate in this entire round robin stage. But we need to talk about the upcoming match here, Giga, because this is gonna be the closing. This is gonna be the ender for this entire week. The main event for this Sunday evening. It is gonna be DVK Oblivion up against ALUla Club. So it's gonna be the clash of these two teams. And I am very much excited here on my seat. I wanted to see this one go right now.
Absolutely stoked, man. I'm gonna be real, especially ALUla, who really did put in the work, dethroning previous champions that we know, right, as Elevate. So it's such a bizarre situation that we're in right now, because on the other hand, we would like to see Oblivion also putting their name a little bit higher on our power rankings. But then again, it's ALUla that we're talking about. We cannot help but root for this team, who has also become a crowd favorite moving forward, right? Now, I'm not gonna expect anything. I'm not gonna predict anything, but at the same time, I'm just excited if and only if we're gonna see a different version of ALUla moving forward, because they're right now it is do or die for this week. I don't think ALULA's in a bad spot, but at the same time, I know they're gunning for the top. I think I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. For ALUla, I mean, the players, of course, they had the history. They knew each other. I mean, we can call them stalwarts because they're quite,
Yes.
the bond is just there, you know. But let's talk about the man of this entire series. It's time for us to give him his flower for this entire match. Search and destroy. It goes in for Pickle. Look at this guy. He's a pickle because he got 16 eliminations, 1.78 KDA. Man, he's just blowing his guns out because for him, it's quite hot, and 16 eliminations for this mode. I mean, it's quite high because he did the most of the eliminations for the entire Visual Scary, and that here in this flower here in this medal.
I did mention that earlier. It's one of my favorite IGNs of all time. So yeah, kudos to Pickle. Thank you for giving us an amazing search and destroy today. Now, while we did hype up, ladies and gentlemen, our next match, let's not forget Visual Scary right here. This is very valuable to them, Vince G, because this took them out of the depths, right, of further losses. So that is, sometimes that's enough, right? That's enough to ignite a flame in you, having stayed in the dark for a little too long. So let's see. I am very interested to see more of Visual Scary moving forward. It's not the first time as well that they've joined a tournament of this caliber. So I'm vaguely interested.
Well, we are very much invested in this on how will this entire day close, how will this entire week close. But of course, congratulations once again to Visual Scary, and I think we need to see who's gonna be the man of this series. But you know, we are just gonna award this one for Mr. James right here. I want to say this. 6-7 eliminations, man. This guy is so crazy when it comes to popping off this entire series. So for Sebio, he decided to step up for this entire series, providing a lot of kills towards their team banner. And one of the reasons the other teams should be scared of this guy, Mr. James. So he will be earning the title of Series MVP.
Huge dogs there, man. Like he basically dogs Sebio entirely. But again, it's not like the community doesn't know anyway. So congratulations, of course, Sebio. Much earned, much deserved Series MVP. He did take the first, basically the a hard point with flying colors. So let's take us right back to the scoreboard here, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Visuals Scary, just like that, at least for now, has overtaken,
Wow.
or sorry, at least have been up to par with ALUla Club, the way that we see it. So, my goodness, this is going to be very, very intriguing moving forward.
Very, very tricky indeed. And let's not forget, we still have 2 more matches to witness. So it's gonna be DBK Oblivion, of course, and ALUla Club. Those two teams in the round robin. It is in between of Visual Scary and AMG.NL. So this will somehow shake things up. One may be overtaking the Visual Scary in terms of the round robin overall board, but let's see how the action unfolds in the next series. So are we gonna see a 2-0 sweep once again, or probably is this going to be an elevate and a rival scenario wherein we're gonna be having a control to close this Sunday evening?
Who's to know, right? And who's to say? Because these teams are definitely going to try to put their best foot forward. The end of the week should end on a high note, right? Especially for those who are still in pursuit of their points. I'm super, super excited on how that's going to be, ladies and gentlemen. Especially ALUla. I've always kept my eyes on ALUla, especially once they made their names known all over the world. There's no turning back, right? But again, you saw what happened to Visual Scary right there, Vince G. It just took one series for them to move up in the rankings. But hold that thought, ladies and gentlemen. We are approaching our final set for the day after this short break. Pika and Vince G still on the mic here for Garena Masters 11. Don't go anywhere.
Alright, everybody, it's time for the main event of the Garena Masters 11. Week number 1, day number 3, and this will be the decider of these two teams. One has to win between DBK, Oblivion, and ALUla Club. Pika, Vince G is still with you here tonight, and this is gonna be the last series that we're gonna be witnessing for this entire week.
Can I just say as well, man, that this right here is such a mix of emotions. I'm not even gonna lie right now. Like today, we witnessed our very first 2-1, Vince G. And then we went straight back to 2-0. So who's to say that this is not gonna happen again for our final set? And
wow.
The Garena map gods love me. Yes, they brought it back to Combine, I'm telling you. And these teams, you know, I'm all kidding aside, it is really a staple now, I would say so, Vince G, when it comes to hardpoint.
Yeah, and it seems like they want to settle their scores once and for all, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, both of these teams actually has a lot of experience here in the Call of Duty mobile esports scene, especially. We're familiar with the players coming in from ALUla, of course. DBK of Oblivion is one of the most established organization here in the Garena region. But still, they want to prove that they're the better team up against each other. So it's gonna be a really tough match, and I must say they cannot even wait. I mean, can we just finish the script, ladies and gentlemen, because they wanted to step into the hardpoint as fast as they could.
Oh yes, without hesitation, ladies and gentlemen. Now here we go. Looking at it, ALUla, eyes on the prize here. The objectives are definitely on board for them. DVK does have to make haste. We're talking about world champ material here. Vince G. That has to be neutralized. So DVK, they know what they have to do. Hardpoint so far, however, is looking quite yellow. Let's see for the last 20 seconds on who's going to be taking the lead here, the significant lead, before we open up P2.
P number 2, ladies and gentlemen, is gonna be, of course, the other thing that they need to consider. But 11 seconds still quite high for these two teams. In ALUla, of course, proceeding to rake all those points, savoring every seconds left in this P number 1. And now they're being focused here in P number 2. ALUla, of course, they had their position quite near the spawn, so they're just gonna try to run it down and step their foot here. Ooh. How can DVK challenge this? And Gurk, how can he manage 3 consecutive kills? Jai somehow stopped him off because he's just going berserk, man.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And for good reason. Hold that thought, folks. We're going to see who's going to emerge on top here when it comes to the eliminations. Because so far, if you look at the scoreboard, ALUla has about a couple players there who are already on the 8th elimination mark. Let's see if that's going to be sustained a little later on as the operator skills are slowly getting whipped out here on the side of ALUla. I'm also keeping my eye on Lucas, man. Like, Lucas is one of the most looked out for players on ALUla's side. But, you know, let's see. This is only our first match for the day anyway for ALUla.
Yeah, ALUla here, they wanted to continue dominating in this tournament, and that's why they wanted to add DVK towards their records. They wanted to rake the win. They wanted to settle it first in the hardpoint. Equalizer coming in from Clove, and Clove right now just entering the premises, goes inside the next hardpoint. He got caught. Kirk once again with a Tempest towards FDX. Reed with a Switchblade kill. Tempest kill for Lucasin. Claw being wheeled out. Scope. Wadudu. Okay, he got caught. Switchblade no more. Soya, even though with a death machine, he's gonna get caught. But there's a lot of chaos happening here just to reclaim those hard points. Contestments are made, but ALUla stood tall.
Yeah, that they did, man. Here we go. Scope with... okay, I was going to say that he did make good bang for buck right there with the War Machine. Speaking of War Machine, here we go. Lucasin just whips out one of his own. Let's see how this is how good this is going to pay for him, but not quite, man. Not a lot of reward for that. 76, 246. Just it's a bit of a haul here for both these teams, especially for DVK. So far, so good. We're headed to our last hard point and the first rotation at that.
And speaking of which, Clove still rotating, spots one, but he got caught. And we can see the job's not done for DVK because they're just waiting for it to unlock. They're just waiting for it to make sure that they're gonna be getting all those points. P number 4, of course, being stepped by the members of the DVK, but ALUla decided to clean house, and it's time for them to defend this hard point. And as they're welcoming the entire DVK Oblivion with a lot of nades towards their way, so this is gonna be hard. I mean, DVK from all sides, left and right, are coming through, being thrown a lot of utilities here, but it's not enough for them to eliminate the entire ALUla club out of that hard point.
It's more than possible, right? So here we go, 105 to 60, empty hard point so far. And again, much like the first hard point, this is an open space, folks. So there's almost very little room to keep your head down on. Like not a lot to duck in. Here we go. Clove trying to go for a little bit of a trap here. 112 to 60. We're literally 10 seconds away before hard point number 1 reopens up again. This is not going to be a very good look for DVK if they stay on the 2-digit mark here a little longer.
For DVK, it's quite the chase. They need to somehow find that opening in order for them to climb the 3-digit mark. 100 might be helping them boost their confidence and getting back on track. Hardpoint, vacant, no one stepping in. DVK decided to step their toe, but they put it out. Reed, can he read the situation together with his teammates? And now as they rush towards the hardpoint, ALUla is trying to hold it as fast as they could with a sheer dominance from Club wielding that equalizer. And as the DVK attempting to drive them off that hardcore, wait a minute, cliff action, that's quite gonna hurt.
Interesting. You don't see that very often, right? At least in that situation with the equalizer, right? Then again, here we go. 18 more seconds to work with here for DVK. Empty hard point once again. Up, never mind. Just a little bit of yellow to catch up on. You're going to try to take those gold coins as much as you can. 129 on the side of ALUla against the 75 of DVK. Yeah, you know, this is this might be just only the second rotation, but if that lead keeps pushing DVK back, then it is going to be a very tough challenge for the rest of our first map.
First map indeed. It seems like ALUla wants to get that 250 points in their favor. DVK, of course, things are not over yet. ALUla now trying to drive DVK out of that hard point, but they successfully eliminated ALUla out of that hard point. But of course, you need to step on it. You need to get those points. DVK, you don't have to waste any time. Of course, you have to savor every moment. ALUla is still challenging them out of that hard point, and now it's being contested. ALUla, of course, with a lot of operator skills here. Death Machine, Sparrow is raining chaos inside this entire building.
Oh, look at that. But a good rebut right there from Reed with a nade. Killing two. 160 to 90 here. In a few more seconds. Oh, never mind. I was going to say that it would have been an easy 160 here for ALUla, but not quite. Let's see how the next hard point is going to look. Yeah, here we go. Just 8 more seconds. Who's going to take that first, honestly, that first point, that first lead here for hard point number 3, or rather, whoever it is going to be racking up more points for them. Oh, never mind. They're not after that right now. They want to go for these operator skills, these score streaks. Vinci, if you take a look at it, DVK, they are on a bit more pressure than ALUla is because, again, they're behind. But it's all about the triggers right now.
It's all about the triggers, and now it seems like DVK is finding their confidence. They're getting back on track, and as they broke the 100 barrier, they are right now at 109 as they are trying to step foot into this hard point. ALUla still questioning how can we challenge them inside this hard point. Every time they go in one after another, DVK already found an answer. Glove, of course, being the reckless guy, he goes in with the equalizer, bags a couple of kills, but of course with the sacrifice of his life. And we can see Mr. Lucas right here gets a couple of kills. He gets 2. I think he got punished for that as well. And as we go on towards our next hard point, things are quite vacant. ALUla is just savoring every second of that one, but being challenged, man.
Yeah, that they are. We saw a bit of green there, up, and we see it again for a split second, but not quite. ALUla still has the massive lead here. Very notable lead. Look at him, just making sure that the rest of DVK will second guess, challenging hard point number 4. This is only our second rotation, or our first rotation rather. Basically the second time that we're seeing these hard points, ladies and gentlemen. So ALUla, they have plenty of room to wiggle here. Not to mention the allowance, the looseness that they have. Look at this, they're almost at 200, right? And I don't think that DVK will be able to honestly interrupt them or intercept them as they make their way to the first one. This momentum is just too hot, it's
too hot indeed, but DVK says otherwise. I mean, if they did manage to somehow stop ALUla, there's still a fighting chance for DVK, but ALUla finally read the room. You cannot hug all the glory. We need to somehow get those points. They're gonna try to unlock it. Going back to P number 1. This is gonna be the 3rd rotation of this entire map, of this mode. ALUla is just counting seconds. They just need 33 more seconds in order for them to capture this game number 1, this mode that's very, very much punishing for both of these teams. DVK, how can you challenge them? There's a lot of throwables being thrown in P number 1, but it seems like they're struggling. But oh my goodness, it's quite hard. I mean, it's just giving.
This is not really a 100 lead, right? But this is still a ways off. Like, this is a long way to go here on the side of DVK. And ALUla, of course, they're not gonna let that go unpunished. Here we go. 236 all the way to the last few seconds, man, of hard point number 1. This is literally basically 1/10 of the next hard point in order for them to try and capitalize on it. Look at that, 247 to 145. They don't even have to rush right now, Vince G. This hard point number 2 is fresh for the taking.
Yeah, 3 seconds inside the hard point, and that's what they need. DVK, if you wanted to dominate, you don't have to give points, but that single second for ALUla does matter to get the momentum for this entire series. ALUla gets the first win, and the question will be, Pika, is that DVK, of course, how can they recover? How can they force a control? I'm begging you. I want to see control just to close this entire week, man.
Yeah, man. ALUla has actually, they know what they're capable of. They already drew the line in the sand for DVK. It is up to them to try and cross it. Now, here we go. ALUla Club getting our very, very first map here. Now, I don't think we need to further elaborate, ladies and gentlemen, on how that went down, simply because ALUla just established too big of a lead. So it is almost impossible for them to try and recap that for the remaining hard points, Vince G. Because of course, ALULA's gonna get in their way 100%. Look at that, 50 eliminations. 50 eliminations on the board. And that's just for one guy. One
for FDX. And I mean for Club, man, he's wielding that equalizer switchblade, and he's just down by 8 in the kills. Comparing to FDX, but the amount of time that they stepped in the hard point, I mean, Jai, he knows the game. He knows that the objective of this game is to set foot and get that 250 as fast as they could. So contestments, points, Jai contributed a lot of that, and of course 37 eliminations. He bagged something. He contributed a lot, but for FDX, man, I must say that he's popping off. He's just collecting kills in this mode.
Yes, and it's a walk in the park. You know, it's basically just all in a day's work, if so to speak, for these players. And Lucas, I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep my eyes on him, especially come Search and Destroy. He's one of the crowd favorites in ALUla. So it just goes to show that they really are getting that job done. Big question mark as well on how that is gonna be for DVK, man. DVK, I know that they tried their absolute best for this, but hardpoint comebacks in hardpoints are very rare, Vinci. Let's be honest about that, because shortly after you lose that 100-point mark, it is gonna be an uphill climb, isn't it? Like, look at this. Right now, this is still at 109 to 60. A little later on, we're gonna see that 60-point mark. Yes, see, look at the gap. It's still very astronomical. It took them a while for them to go past 100.
Yeah, it took them a while, but of course, somehow we can see that DVK is just trying to figuring out how to somehow catch up. So they had an idea, but of course, Nime is not on their side, because for them, I mean, for the entire ALUla club, they just needed a couple more seconds, couple more seconds in order for them to close this entire mode. But yeah, we can see that 247 is quite as close as the 3 hard points. And for the entire DVK, they need to step in for how many more hard points? For them, it's just 3 seconds.
Yes. And that's what I was mentioning, man. Like, that next hard point was just too ripe for ALUla. All they had to do was literally go for a pinfall. That's it. That is the map right there. And it goes without saying, you know, we pointed it out. So FDX right here with 50 eliminations for that one hard point alone, 1.52 on the KDA. It really is a statement to begin with. Now the challenge has been issued. Your move, DVK.
DVK. Yeah, we need to ask them the very, very crucial question. Will you force the control in this next map, next mode? Where is it gonna be, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, it's gonna be Tunisia. Tunisia once again.
Of course. Ooh. You know, I'm not against this at all, man. I'm a huge fan of aesthetics, especially for maps. And Tunisia is definitely one of the more beautiful maps to date. It's such a sight to see. But again, as beautiful as it is, you know, a lot of tragic moments happen in Tunisia. Let's not forget that this is also where earlier today, this is where our very first 1-1 was decided. In this entire series of round robins leading up to today. So for the past couple of days, we've had 2 NOs, and this was the curse breaker. This Tunisia was where Elevate right? This is where they were
Wow.
able to turn the tide. So maybe if history repeats itself, then this will be a good sign for DVK.
Speaking of good sign, I mean, players are quite hot right now. They don't want to go on a break because they wanted to keep the momentum. They
Here
wanted
we
to
go.
keep the flame burning because we kick off this search and destroy, the final search and destroy for this evening in Tunisia map. Who is gonna walk out as the winners of this mode? Are we gonna see some control action brought to us by DVK, or ALUla can close this on a 2-0? So no bodies being dropped at this moment as we speak. So very safe for them. They're trying to oh, whoa, Girk with the nade. What a first impression, huh?
I was gonna say that, man. What an intro by Girk.
Intro.
And beautiful work. And just like that, he already has 2 on the board for his team. That is huge. Here we go. B plays right here. And Lucasin, I did mention that I'm keeping my eyes on this guy. He is one of the most targeted players on the side of ALUla. But there, Girk again? He's already at 3, man.
Kurt, man, quite hot in this opening round of the search and destroy. Wadudu decided to eliminate Skurd, and now they're just trying to find bodies. And how many kills for this
He got
guy?
4, man. A
4.
Beautiful 4-piece for Girk.
4.
What a start.
Yeah, Girk quite hot in this game. 4 out of 5, man. I mean, you can just lay low and rest, guys. I got your back. That's for this guy alone, for Gert, man. He's doing all the hard work. What an intro. What a start.
Man's is inspired for some reason. We're not gonna ask why that is. Here we go. FDX returning the favor, taking out Reed. We got Clove as well. Oh, never mind. That was Clove who took care of Reed. Pardon me. Girk once again on the board. He's already had 5. He's already had 5 eliminations. Jai taking out 1. I was gonna say that would have been good for 2, but no. ALUla basically punches back. 3-2, and the objective is still on the hands of Girk.
Gert gets 2 kills in this round alone, but he almost got caught in that one, but he's still alive, man. That guy is very tanky, very durable. He didn't get Gert once again wants to
Not this
challenge,
time.
but that has to put you down for good. Shotgun right in front of your face. Wadudu, on the other hand, traded 1 juicy kill, but I was expecting for Gert to somehow step up once again, but you know, you have to put a stop towards this guy before he burst into flames. You need to be very scared of the jerk, man.
You have to, man. He has 6 eliminations as early as now. So it is basically like telling all the kids in the yard, right? That okay, I'm the big dog here. you
Yeah.
gotta know where to step. So, anyways, 23 seconds left on the clock here. Wadudu, last man standing on the side of DVK. If he's able to make a clutch here, a very important play, then that's gonna be something. That's gonna be a statement. So unfortunately, you don't have eyes in the back of your heads. One flank could do it. He's looking at the right direction though here, Vinci. Check it out.
Yeah, right direction. If he managed to get the right couple of kills, it will mean something. Lucasin right now together with his teammate FDX. They're just looking for Wadudu. Wadudu being patient. He's not moving an inch to where he's at right now. He decided to step back a little bit with a boxing glove. Prize fighter. He decided to not wield that knockout punch.
Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Oh
whoa.
my goodness. One stood up while the other planted, but that knockout. I mean,
Okay.
he did quite hurt a lot, but of course, at the end of the day, you need to bring guns into a gunfight, not some knuckles and such.
Yeah, I feel that was a very missed opportunity, right, on the side of ALUla.
Yeah.
I feel that they should not have actually peaked at all, because it was gonna be on the side of DVE to try and stop the defuse, right? Numbers was on their end. They had 2 sites. They have 2 angles to cover. Anyways, what's done is done. Here we go. Skurd and Jai opening things up. Let's see. Scope does have information that someone is in shadows.
FDX here being patient right now. He knew that someone is hiding, but nice peek. Scope gets for 2. Information galore. After FDX, he decided to flick. He decided to turn the other cheek, and now he went for Jai. What a fast-paced sniper coming in from him. as he did the job done. I mean, he get the job done. He reduced the numbers 3 versus 3, Pika. I mean, you need to be patient with Clove right now. Decided to eliminate Soya, but Reed as well gets scared. Clove gets his double. Reed is now out, so this is gonna be a 2 versus 1. Scope, you're the last guy. He has that spear up. Can he wield it up?
There
But
we go.
Lucas, man, look at this guy being focused.
Yes. And that's what I was talking about earlier, man, Vince G. When the numbers were actually on their side, it was a bit of a greedy play on the side of ALUla, so to speak. So now they realize that, okay, we can't mess that up anymore. We can't walk into a booby trap and expect to be untouched. So this is 1-2 so far. ALUla probably finding their footing. This is a very interesting play here. We got 2 in A. Got player number 4. We got Lucas in patrol, just scouting through mid. They didn't actually 100% committed to this play earlier on.
Patience, of course. They have to be patient enough here. Still, a minute and a half. It's a long time for them to make some decision. Are they gonna go for A? Are they gonna go for B? They still have the package, but right now, I mean, for ALUla, it's all about checking every corners of the sites. You don't want to see DVK rolling. You've got your first point. You have to put a stop towards them, but how can you stop Soya, man? He decided to eliminate Lucas to give them the numbers game, the numbers advantage. DVK, of course, they're strong at that one. If they knew that they pop off one, it's gonna come. It's gonna they're gonna try to reap the results. And for Gert, he's now back, man. He's gonna try to get more kills.
Oh man. So far the amount of eliminations that Gert is already like miles away from the next guy. It's like 7 to 5, and that's also on the side of DVK. ALUla, they're in a bit of a troublesome situation here. Skirt slowly. Oh, but Wadudu was already looking at the corner. 3-1. Man, ALUla, I don't think they're gonna walk away untouched here, bro. This is gonna be tough.
This is gonna be tough because we have seen our first series. I mean, expectations had been set, control has been unlocked, and DVK, they want to do that as well. But as for Lucas, he decided to eliminate 2 players right from the start. Gert decided to eliminate one as well, and as they check corners, they check every alleyways that the potential players may be walking at. No one's there, nobody's home. Still, the bomb is at base. Lucas again, that's his 3rd kill. Gert being put towards a stop. I mean, Lucas quite hot. We can see the support coming in from the parents of this guy, and that is why this guy is quite hot. Lucas, can he step up for his game? I mean, everyone's watching. A lot of supporters are watching him play.
That's right. And that could really go a long way. Oh, Reed just walked into a Viper's pit there. Just having to see a couple of honestly some hunters, if you will. Because he was the last man standing, right? It's very sad for Reed. He would really need a lot of eyes everywhere, unfortunately. But there it is. ALUla closing the gap 1 round at a time. Let's see. And it's a huge amount of thank yous, right? It's a lot of thank yous on the side of Lucas, and he was one of the more, honestly, the more detrimental players in that round because of the big 3 that he took out there, Vinci. That was huge. So
huge indeed. I mean, Lucas popping off. Jai again getting Soya. Gert again. Of course, the trade. Jai is gonna be the casualty of that one for 4 versus 4 rather. We can see the side's quite hot. I mean, for the side of ALUla, they're just keeping an eye towards the B side. A still, of course, being guarded, but you don't need to allocate manpower. 2-2 split is gonna be the name of this game, while the other players, or the other team rather, DPK, they're trying to break towards B. Scope starts the fight, eliminates Lucasin before he gets more bodies, and now ALUla has to work with 3 players. Scared, just checking the balcony for potential players running towards that side, and as they go towards A, it seems like the decoy worked, so they just have to react quick. I mean, for FDX, he just need to relay some information to call for backup.
that's true. That's true. However, the
Hello?
hardest part about all of this is the fact that DVK still has one man up. Despite the information, look at that. See, they had to leave Reed, man number 1, to go for that flank. This is going to be very dangerous for ALUla. They don't know that they're going to be hunted. They don't know that someone is on the back end. Let's see how this is going to be. Yep, there we go. ALUla, though, where is the threat? Player number 1 is still in. There it is. There it is. Beautiful stop. Beautiful stuff. That's what I was talking about, Vinci. That's what I was talking about. Player 1 was in pursuit. He was a threat, a looming threat that they did not know about.
Looming threat, ladies and gentlemen. DBK,
Hey.
I am liking what I am seeing. DBK, of course, they wanted to show that they could force a decider. Yes, hard point did not work in their favor, but here comes Tunisia. Here comes Search and Destroy. Jai eliminating Wadudu, but Soya, of course, answers back. FDX with the wall bang. FDX with the wall bang being eliminated right from that exchange. So what is gonna happen next? We can see the B right now. They're trying to rush towards there with that briefcase. So are they gonna force 40 seconds here on the clock as ALUla regroups on A?
Uh-huh. Okay, there we go. Reed unable to go for that for the final touches there. Very interesting. The rotation's definitely gonna happen. I just don't know what the plan here is gonna be for ALUla. Are they gonna go in as one? Yep, there we go. Good enough trade, but now last man standing, Jai, against 3 more players here on the side of DVK, completely surrounded. Yep, 1 down.
Soya. This is patient. They need to be patient. Reed, he decided to check up, but he got caught, man. I mean, for DBK, I am loving what I'm seeing with this team. So, of course, things are not gonna be easy. You think ALUla, you can go for a 2-0. Well, DBK, they just need 4 more rounds. We're gonna be bracing ourselves for control, but this is way too early. Maybe ALUla is just waiting for the briefcase action. DBK is doing so well as the attacker side, but if the situation change, if the roles are reversed on this mode, ALUla, can they finally get that kick? You know, I mean, that's what I'm waiting for. ALUla is doing good on the earlier stage of the rounds. They're trying to catch up, but DBK is just denying them heavily.
True enough, man. And again, earlier on, if you recall, and for those of you who did not get to witness our first set for the day, that side switch really paid dividends. Because being an attacker, obviously, it can be that that push, can be that perk rather that you can use. You know, when it comes to search and destroy, you can set the pace, or you can establish an imminent threat that you can finally be the one who's a bit more aggressive, who can dictate the pace, who can draw the opponent towards you. Back to the action though. 1 man down again on the side of ALUla. This has been a very common scenery that we've been seeing since earlier today, Vince G. They're already down by 1 man. Objectives are denied. ALUla is forced to adapt, and DVK just capitalizes on the moments.
Ooh. FDX, man, with that long-range shot, he's attempting a double. Lucas goes for Reed. FDX, there you go. He's looking for that second kill. Wadudu is going to be on his side, but that's good. I mean, ALUla, before that switch, they decided to close that round with a win, and it seems like the briefcase, it's gonna be on their side. And how can they do it, man? How can they play with the briefcase? Because when you're the attacking side, of course, you need to set the pace, you need to rush, or you need to take it slow. Let's see how can they do on this round.
Yes, again, I'm very cautious on that. I'm very curious as well. Here we go. 2 eliminations on the board as we speak. Let's see, ALUla. Remember, this is what you said. This is also what we kind of jinxed earlier. This side switch could be huge. Gurk, the timing is just horrible though for when he peaked. Skurd is already ahead. Wadudu, another, basically another trade, taking out Clove. Last couple of players here on the side of DVK. They can still do it.
Can they? Oh, look at that. Wadudu. Of course, he slides his way inside, but wait just a minute there. ALUla, of course, with the briefcase on their side, it seems like the pacing did become fast. I mean, it became fast. So for ALUla, It doesn't matter if we have the briefcase. We want to rush things. We want to close this gap as fast as they could. So they're just one round behind, equalizing this series or this round with DVK. So Scope is trying to do his best to eliminate the numbers, but can they stop them? Ooh, Wadudu, nice kill.
Oh boy. Okay, interesting. Interesting. We're talking about numbers here, Vince, as you mentioned. It has dwindled down again on the side of ALUla. Now it's a 2v3. Never mind, just like that. Momentum snagged right again. 6-4. Oh my goodness. DVK, they are not going down without a fight here, man. This right here is one of those situations where in you corner an animal, right? No matter how small that animal is, they're gonna peck right back. If you already bring them to the point of no choice, it is gonna be tough. It is gonna be rough as well.
It's gonna be the adrenaline, you know.
Yes.
Even cats, when frightened, they're very much scary. So let's see how can they fare out. How can you scare these guys? ALUla right now, of course, as the leopards of this tournament. Let's see how can they establish the beast within their team, because DVK right now is trying to kick things off. ALUla trying to reduce the time to 45 seconds, successfully planting that bomb towards B. DVK needs to come close to defuse it, eliminate first the members, or try to somehow sneak in and defuse it without shedding some blood towards their hands. But taking it slow, it's quite hard to ninja in this one, but you have to reduce the numbers. Lucas eliminates Reed. Wadudu, on the other hand, got
they're
spotted
doing
by
it.
Lucas for his double. But for ALUla right now, their things are doing great. Soya with a pistol. He got
my
caught from Lucas by behind.
Yo, you gotta believe in the plan. That was the plan all along. It was forcing DVK to walk into a choke point. Amazing work, man. That's what happens when this team right here, when ALUla, everybody chooses to be a daredevil. You know what I mean? They were down by one man, and just because they believed in the plan, you know, they deep down they were like saying they're gonna come to us. No matter what happens, they're gonna come to us, and that's exactly what happened, man. 5-6 right now. ALUla closing the gap once again, ladies and gentlemen.
Closing the gap indeed. 1 point behind. ALUla is just waiting for this moment. We've seen them kick off this side switch by being so fast, so quick, and we can see the slide coming in from Clove very, very fast. Wadudu, even no time for him to react. Reed also goes for Clove and goes for Jai as well. Lucas again goes for Gurk. Scope. He scope. Lucas in out of this game, gets his double as well, and now bodies being dropped. FDX also returning the favor with the Locust, and now is down to Reed and Scope. FDX, the final guy. She's Scope. Oh my goodness, that's a wall bang. We're down to a 1 versus 1. The briefcase is down on the ground. Reed, you have to keep your eyes open to stop FDX from retrieving it. But wait a minute, he's gonna do it. He's gonna try to somehow protect the briefcase here and probably do some plant right now.
Oh no, I don't know what kind of information is being relayed here for both these players. The timing is just horrible.
Wait.
They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. The timing is horrible, but Reed. Oh man, caught right as he entered the window. Okay, that is insane. That is insane. What a round that was. I will not forget that. I am not gonna forget that. Back and forth they went, Vince G.
Yeah, rally of deaths and kills on that round, and until we've got 1 versus 1, and the finale is just good. You know, he got caught. He got sniped from behind. He's just waiting for him to sneak in the window, and as the patrolman goes, you cannot enter the window. You cannot break into someone's house. He took the shot, man. He took the kill. He got the briefcase. It fell towards the ground, but DVK, of course, setting up the face. ALUla, of course, can remember that, and they have to somehow adjust to what they've experienced. So ALUla, can you play more aggressively this time? With that slide, Clove decided to eliminate Kirk. Wadudu as well.
That was the answer to your question, Vince. You look at ALUla right now. They took out 4 in less than 20 seconds. 4 players on the side of DVK gone, withered out, and now Reed in survival mode once again. He has to try and withstand this onslaught. Look at that. Look at the hunters of ALUla. They're just everywhere. Oh, look at that. He just passed by the balcony. He went through long and he got grazed.
No, man, you got scraped by the metal, and can I say this? 6-7 score. So we've seen this, man. So most likely there's an end game for a score like 6-7. So last series 6-7. I mean, you have to kick things off like in the firing range, right? So they're forced to end that with a 9-6 score. So that may be the case, but ALUla, I can say, they're trying to somehow dictate the pace with Jai getting 2. Clove again contributing 1 kill. Wadudu also making the numbers game. Wadudu and Soya, the last 2 members standing for DVK, as the Lucas and Jai working hand in hand. Jai not wasting any time. 1.5 minutes? Okay, let's reduce the numbers to 45 as the clock is ticking. You need to eliminate them and go for the defuse. So, DVK, can you step up? Can you eliminate? Can you defuse? Wadudu's just standing up, but he went low. Lucas goes for Soya. ALUla is just there, and Lucas eliminates Wadudu. Tied, man. Tied.
Oh, 7th heaven indeed. As we are tied here, ladies and gentlemen. ALUla, has this been the plan all along? Were we part of a long con? Vinzi, was this it? Was this actually what they intended to do? Playing it a little too close to the chest, giving DVK false hopes that they were actually gonna walk away with this win. Let's see. Scope, however, he does have his sight set on Winery. Going over to the perspective of Jai, they are over at B. I don't think they're aware that Soya is actually here.
A lot of throwables being thrown towards the side of ALUla, but it seems like ALUla still trying to defend the B side for possible defuse by the members of the DVK. Yes, they rushed things, of course. 33 seconds. They just need to buy some time. Briefcase laying down the ground.
Oh.
No one is gonna attempt to sneak in because the defense are quite tight. But Dudu slides in with an intro for them to rush things. But I think they have to coordinate their attack because the entire ALUla club is just setting up themselves around the site, man.
This is what I'm talking about. I feel so punked. I feel so bamboozled right now by ALUla club. You see how different they are here than they were in the first rounds. Oh, you see what I mean? Lucas in already with 3. Just literally 15 seconds into the round. Potential match set point as well, ladies and gentlemen. And they don't even have the bombs. They don't intend to do anything with objectives.
It's just bloodbath. It's just elimination. Yes, we're the attacking side, but we don't care. We want to drop bodies. We want to eliminate the entire DVK. Scope! Scope, can you survive? You're the only guy. You're wounded. He's trying to resist, but you cannot resist Jai's final blow. And as I've said, I've seen this one before in firing range. 9-7 score, but in this scenario, Pika, it's reversed, you know.
Right.
From 6-7, they managed to climb up 3 more rounds, and they closed it 9-7. I mean, it's very, very fast-paced. ALUla did calculate everything, and they just waited for the briefcase, man. It's their winning condition. They cashed in.
That's right. Such a convincing comeback, if so to speak, right? Like they were really down. They had us convinced. I told you, I feel like I was being pranked here because ALUla looked like they were really falling behind. Look at what happened earlier. Let's not forget that we had Gert, I believe, who really stepped on the gas very earlier on with a number of frags, and he got stuck there. He actually got stuck after that monumental run off of the first couple rounds there. So, man, they really had us fooled. I mean, me for sure. I don't know about you, but it really did look like ALUla was gonna step or was gonna trip just a couple of steps there. They were so close to getting brought to a match number 3. But congratulations, and Jai, of course, it goes without saying, being the match MVP was just phenomenal.
I mean, I was even bracing for a control map because, yeah, that's what I want. I wanted to see a very close battle, but yes, search and destroy. It's quite close. We can see the comeback potential coming in from ALUla. Yes, everyone got fooled. Even the chat right now, they're showing their love. ALUla bounced back, and with that, I mean, probably they considered the amount of support that they're getting towards the chat. And here you go. I mean, for Lucas and the rest of the members, we have to rise. We just have to wait for the briefcase to be handed at us, and then you make a play. You cash in, and they did. They're even forgetting the briefcase because they wanted total annihilation. They're just trying to make this a TDM.
This is what I was saying, man. Like that last round, it put a huge smile on my face in case you didn't see me. Because
Yeah.
I felt like in reality, man, they were so confident. They were super, super confident they were going to take that last round right there. Because they had the numbers, right? Especially after Lucasin picked off 2 right off the bat. Followed it up with a 3rd. That could have been a sign for objective. Remember, that's what they did earlier. They allowed for that very confident play. If you recall, I was saying that, oh, even at 4v5, ALUla was so brave to try and go for a plant. And it worked out masterfully for them because they had DVK right where they wanted it. They wanted to go to the site. We'll play the gunfights here. If we win, then good. If we don't, then, oh, well, that sucks. So far, ALUla, man, picture perfect.
Picture perfect, ladies and gentlemen. That's how they close this entire week. ALUla with a 2-0 win. So, as for DVK, yes, they
Valiant
did
effort.
show us. Of course, they did show us a lot of good fight, but of course, it all comes down towards the better team in this matchup, and that, of course, is gonna be ALUla. Again, handing a series win,
Yep.
2 wins, of course. So this is gonna be a very good way to close this night. And as for Lucasin, yes, he made his parents proud. I can see them in the chats, man. Much love for this guy. 19 LMs and 2.71 KDA. Lucasin, he stepped up as well. He took the challenge and he decided to close this evening as the guy of that S&D.
Man, I recall calling his matches before, like for Lucasin, which is why he made such an impact to me before we even started the set, right? I was talking about him so highly, and this is why. This is exactly why Lucasin deserves the praise that he has. He made so many moments in previous tournaments. He made moments now. So there's no doubt about it, man. He really has to be looked after or looked out for because he's such a threat. He was one of the biggest aces in the hole for ALUla Club. And congratulations, you really did deserve that MVP. Again, I hate being right there. I hate being correct that Lucasin was going to be a very, very big factor in S&D.
Yeah, very big factor indeed, ladies and gentlemen. ALUla Club, of course, they deserve their flowers. And again, they have closed this evening as, yes, the winners. But you are the man of the SND. But yeah, let's give him again his flowers for being the entire man of this series. Lucasin accumulating 57 eliminations all over those 2 modes. 1.5 KDA for this guy. Once again, make your mama and dad proud, Lucasin, because they're keeping an eye on you, son. Congratulations once again. And for ALUla, yes, 2 wins, 1 series to help them retain their standing. So maybe, just maybe, they're just playoff bound, but who knows what's gonna happen next week.
That's right. And if my calculations are correct, there we go. I was about to say that ALUla Club will actually overtake Urban Legends, or SKAERI rather. Sorry, SKAERI, because they were the ones who took the place earlier. So ALUla Club now just a few points shy of getting out of 3rd place territory. Let's see how that's going to unfold next week, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, we didn't see a lot of various actions here today from the other teams, or not as spectacular, if so to speak. So here we go. I believe Urban Legends didn't play today, so they took a little bit of a seat back, stuck to where they were. The good thing is we do have at least a bit of change here on the side of VİZUALZ and SKAERI. So yeah, Vince G, I believe that Elevate and Rival Esports are going to continue this bout up until next week.
Yeah, they're gonna be proceeding, and I think we need to brace ourselves in the remaining 4 days of this round robin, and we might be seeing some shakeups there in our top four. So who knows who's gonna qualify for the playoffs? We need to tune in the last 4 days, and of course, this is one of the series that we need to keep an eye out next week, because ALUla Club undefeated, Elevate is still on top, so most likely they will be encountering each other, and this might be something that we need to keep our eyes on. So will Elevate still reign on top, or probably ALUla can give them their first series loss? We don't know.
Tales as old as time, as we always say, right? There is something there that we need to watch out for. And again, if there's something that we know about days like this, we saw a sleuth of 2-0s coming to our third day, but now the curse was broken. And we had ALUla Club play possum as well. That we thought that they were actually gonna give one match there, but no, unfortunately not. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that is it for the day and for the week of our round robin here. So I'm gonna say my thank you first before I hand it over to Vince G. So thank you once again to Garena Call of Duty Mobile for this opportunity, especially at Garena Masters 11. So, and again, this chance right here doesn't come very often, seeing these teams really have a go at it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Garena, of course, for giving some spotlight for our players to shine here by having the Garena Masters 11. Here in the Garena region, of course, players and teams definitely need some spotlight. And for Garena Masters 11, this is just one stage for them to show off their skills, that they could be on top. We may be seeing future champs here, world champs, I must say, here in Garena Masters 11. We've seen one before, but of course, I want to thank Mr. Pika as well. Thank you so much for having me as your partner today. It has been a pleasure casting with you again after all these years, man.
It has been. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that is how we are gonna close our book for the day. Thank you so much for those of you who tuned in. It has been Pika and Vince G signing off. We'll see you next week for more Garena Masters 11 action.
Bye bye.